Well. I am here laying in the bed. I'm home. um, I guess I'll start this thing off right. I wake up in the morning, thank the Most High. Husband, 7 kids, thought I stopped at 5. A roller coaster ride. German Shepherd by my side. Love the holidays. Come along for the ride. If you try to copy this and don't give me my props, I'm a train without brakes. Shot it can't be stopped. It's your mouth you dropped. It's the mic I drop. I do it all from an intro. No help, no gigs, no props, no team of yes men, not even a laptop. Let's go. Well, y'all, I don't even know how to start this. So, I already kind of figured something was going on with me, but as usual, I tried to just push it off and keep going. And I will say I'm glad, and I'm glad that God put in my heart to keep pressing a certain issue and to keep speaking up for myself. But as you guys may know, I had started back working, and I was having an issue with getting paperwork for my job. Just paperwork stating that I am a patient and that I do have a medical device implanted, which is a port in my chest. And I was having a little issue with that, and then I was having another issue where when I would call up there and ask for, okay, so when is my next appointment so I could see my PA? Because I'm thinking at the time, well, maybe if I get to the PA, then maybe I could get the things that I need done so that I can move on. And they told me my next appointment wasn't until April. And that just sounded, it sound it sounded wrong. It sounded like they was trying to push me off, shrug me off or something. It just didn't sound right. So I started making a couple of phone calls like, wait a minute. It already took me a long time to get this letter. I finally got the letter, and I had to tell her, yeah, mail me a physical copy, because she was saying, do you want me to mail it to you or do you want me to fax it to your employee? Your employer. And I said, yes, send it to me. And I said that because she had given me such a hard time to even get the letter that it had gotten to the point where I did not trust her to actually fax the papers that she was supposed to fax. So this whole time I'm going through this, I'm still thinking to myself, I need to see a doctor. I need to get my labs done. Like I was told that when I hit that 1 year mark, I was going to have to get these tests done, and I'm not getting it done. So after leaving so many messages, I finally got a call back saying, hey, the doctor wants you to come in to get labs done next week. And I was like, thank you. Like it took me calling and leaving messages for me to actually get my foot in the door to get an appointment. So in December, I took some blood tests. I did not see the PA that day. They just wanted me to take some labs, and I went home. So on January the 5th, I received a call. And on this call, she was so nice. And yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay, just trying to pull myself together after receiving this news. So on January the 5th, they called me and they said, hey, on one of the tests that we did, we saw a little small amount of the Philadelphia strand. But that's not the way she worded it at first. When she said it, I just said it back to her in my term, in layman's term. I was like, so is that Philadelphia strand, huh? And she was like, yes. So just a little bit. So we need you to come back in and take a second test so we can make sure we saw what we saw. And I said, okay. So I'm thinking, I do not want to go through this again. Good morning, good morning. I was just catching up on some of your videos. You are something else with that AI. It's like you be coming up with some concepts and stuff, and I be like, oh, that was funny. Okay. But so so she said we're gonna have to do a second test. That Philadelphia strand, she said, but it was very small amount. It's a really small amount, but we see a little bit coming up. Yeah, no problem. I love your channel. It's like it's something light away from all the distractions and all the negative stuff that come up, and then you get something like your channel come up, and um, that's why I love certain channels because it's like a break away from all the crazy stuff. But so she said, okay, we're gonna need you to come in and do the second test. I said, okay, I could do that. But I was reluctant. My husband wanted to come with me, but we decided that he should stay back just in case I didn't get back in time because my twins have started with their ABA therapy and their speech and stuff. So we're trying to make sure their attendance is on point. We don't want to give them any excuses to take them out of the program. So, good morning, good morning. That's the beautiful Miss Patty. Y'all know I love. She's like my virtual auntie. Like she reminds me of my family so much, and I just love watching her and listening to her wise words. Um, so so we decided that I would just go and do the labs, the second labs, and my husband would stay back just in case he had to get the kids out of their ABA center. And so I went back and did the second test. They had to access my port again, and I waited about 2 weeks, got the call again stating, yes, it is what we thought it was. The Philadelphia strand is trying to come back, but it's a very small amount. So basically, I'm coming out of remission, and they're thinking right now of what they're going to do. Oh, Miss Patty, you already know I love watching you. um, So there, I was just saying, sometimes I love watching certain people's channels because it pulls me away from all the negative things that come up. And sometimes when you watch positive people or people who are creative or people who are just, sharing their journey or what they go through, it's a break away from certain things, and I really enjoy that, especially with what I'm going through. I tend to watch YouTube more than I even watch regular TV. I don't watch a lot of TV unless I'm watching documentaries. I love watching documentaries about animals and geography, certain locations like Egypt. I love watching about ancient aliens and things like that and sea creatures. So I love watching documentaries on TV, but as far as like daily watching things, I watch a lot of YouTube, and I really love the positive channels and the creative channels, the ones that make me laugh, the ones that make me think, and some that correct me. I love watching channels where people are um, using scriptures to make corrections. I love being corrected as long as it's done in the right way and out of love. Sometimes I have to check myself when I hear people say certain things. I be like, "Ooh, I'm guilty of that. I need to start paying close attention to that." And yeah. So I love the positive channels because when you're going through something and when you're in and out of the hospital, sometimes all you have is that connection with the internet to kind of boost your spirits. And for the past couple of weeks, I've really been trying to only support and not really say much because I didn't know how to say it. So after I got the news that it is what it is, the cancer is trying to come back. The biggest obstacle for me was telling my parents. Um, I just always have had in my head that since I'm the youngest, that I would be charged with the responsibility of caring for my parents. And I never in a million years would have thought that my parents would have to care for me in my 40s. So that's kind of heartbreaking. But what's really really heartbreaking for me is having to tell my parents that, hey, it's back. But they had already given me the numbers. They had already told me that it's a chance that it'll come back. It's a chance that your body will reject. So they had already kind of forewarned me of certain things. But it's kind of hard to tell the people that you love, um, because of their expressions. You don't want to hurt anybody. You don't want to see anybody hurt. You don't want to see anybody in pain. So I don't want my parents to be like, sad that it's back or anything, because I could still fight this. It took so long for it to come back that they have a better chance of fighting it. And from how they explained it to me, if it would have came back immediately, or if I would have went into remission and then came right back out of remission, then it's harder for them to fight it because your body would be so used to the treatment. But since it took over a year for it to try to come back and they caught it early, I have a better chance of fighting it with a different treatment. So that's the path that we're gonna go on. We're gonna try a different form of the TKI that I take. Right now, I'm taking what they call panatinib, or some may call it Iclusic, and so we're gonna take a different form of the TKI. I don't know which brand yet, but when I find out, I will let you guys know, because I know some people follow my journey because they have either gone through it or they are currently going through it, and they want to know, like, they may be in a different stage than I am, so they want to know what I have to deal with. So I try to bring info as soon as I can, but like this time around, y'all, I just didn't know how to say it. And I already know that I'll be met with so many different, I don't know, like when I was first diagnosed with cancer, I was met with so many people that was so negative, but in their hearts, they didn't think they were being negative, but it was very negative. You do not tell somebody who was just diagnosed with cancer that you don't come off to them like you know everything and that it'll never happen to you, and you got that because you did this, or you got that because you ate this, or you did that, or whatever. And especially when I was telling people, like, no, we knew we knew when I received my treatment for Graves' disease, my thyroid disease. When I signed the paper, on the paper, it stated that the form of radiation that I was receiving could possibly cause cancer later down, down the line. And it actually stated that leukemia could be caused through different types of radiation. So it wasn't the fact that I ate certain foods. It wasn't. And then even after you say that, people will still say things like, I bet you it was because of the way you eat. You don't even know how I eat. You know, people can be so mean and so rude. You missing out in my garden, and that's another thing. Like I had just started kind of getting back excited to be in the garden. Um, for you garden lovers, you may know that okay, Lowe's puts out their things earlier than Home Depot. I hate to say the names of the stores because people like to just say box stores or big box stores, but I'm gonna say the name because there is a difference. Now, Home Depot, they don't put their like seeds and things out until a little bit later than Lowe's. Lowe's will start prepping for springtime like at the beginning of January. They're already starting to put some of their things out. So when I was coming from my first test, that was no, not the first test, the second test. I stopped at Lowe's and y'all, I was so excited because my doctor was like, you can get back out in the garden. You can still get back out of your garden. You just have to stay protected. Cover yourself. They want me to wear a mask in the garden and they also want me to make sure I'm wearing good gloves. Now, the gloves that I have, I'm going to have to change them because he wants me to have longer gloves. I could do that. But I'm I'm going to be in my garden. I will, Miss Patty. You know, I just hate that. I hate that people have this, and it seems like that's common now. That people feel like they have to have this thing where they have to kind of get you told, or they have to make sure they sound right or whatever. And you be thinking to yourself now, I could stand here and debate you, but me personally, I don't like debating people. I like to think before I speak. I like to weigh out all, the scenarios. I really, I am the type where if I see you keep poking or I see that you keep trying to make this point, I'm actually going to go back and I'm going to study. I'm going to study your ways. I'm going to actually do a little background check myself. I'm going to study the topic that we're talking about, and then I'll come back at you. I don't like going back and forth because I'm not good with my words. Um, and I feel like when someone's trying to get me caught in a corner and trying to make me feel bad for something that I already um, am going through, it kind of makes me emotional because at that point I'm no longer looking at the actual situation. Now I'm looking at how you're talking to me or how you're treating me, and it's causing me to get emotional because in my head I'm thinking to myself, why are you talking to me like this, or why are you so hell bent on trying to hurt me when I'm already hurt? That's what I start looking at. But I, like I said, I'm very inquisitive. I will go back and I will look at some of your old stuff. I will go back and I will research you. And then I will start looking back on the things that you have going on. Say, for instance, if you're coming at me because I have cancer and you feel like I got cancer because I don't work out. But you don't know that I'm an athletic person. You don't know that I work out. You're just saying it just so you can have something to put over me. Oh, you got that because you don't work out. I am the type of person that I will go and dig up and I will research you like to no end. I will look at your old content and I will look at your new content and I will look at your weight. I will look at your mannerisms and I will sit here and I think to myself, oh, oh, so isn't that something? And that way, the next time you come at me, I will retaliate. However, when I retaliate, I have a tendency to hurt people's feelings because I start pulling out truth. I start pulling out things that I actually saw. I start pulling out things that you thought you had covered up or that you thought that was forgotten or swept under the rug. And I will hurt your feelings. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm working on that, but people will take you there. When I was first diagnosed with cancer, I had people literally blaming me for having cancer, blaming me with different things like, oh, it's what you eat, or it's because you don't exercise, or it's because you don't keep it moving. Because I had stopped working for a while, stopped working because I had just had twins. But anyway, had some people say I got cancer because I stopped moving around, I stopped working. Truth of the matter is, I know where it came from. It came from me receiving what they call proton radiation. And I received, let me see, I received a different type of radiation. It was the kind of radiation you have to swallow. It was like a pill, to the point where they had to come in there in a little, um, they had to cover completely up, and they had to bring it in like a little pill jar. But the pill jar was a dark grayish color because it was radiation they were carrying. And I had to swallow this pill without, they told me before they even opened it, they said, don't look at it, don't hold it too long, just take it. It's radiation. You sign a paper stating, when I take this, I know that there is a chance that later on down the line I may have cancer. I took that radiation years ago in my 20s, and I had a feeling then it's going to happen. But at the time, I had to do what I had to do because I had let my thyroid disease go on for so long that other options was off the table. I had to do what I had to do to survive. By then, I had lost so much weight, and I have shown the pictures on this platform before. But I was actually in hospice. I was under hospice care, and I had lost so much weight that you could see the bones in my chest. And that's why I don't like when people comment on my weight. People think that skinny means healthy. Skinny for me was the total opposite. When I started losing a lot of weight, I had thyroid disease. I had Graves' disease, and I was once again being shrugged off by different doctors and different specialists. And I kept saying, hey, something is wrong with me. I'm always tired. I'm losing a lot of weight without trying. My hair was extremely long. My hair was long and thick, and people thought that was just, oh, that's gorgeous. I'll never forget, I had one relative, I don't want to say who, but I had one relative that was, oh my God, your hair is just so thick and long. Oh my God, I'm gonna do my hair like that. And what do you do to your hair? Just going crazy. Oh, you done lost so much weight. That's good, girl. What you doing? Oh, I need to do what you doing. And I kept saying, I'm sick. I'm sick. And this person just kept saying my size and my hair, my size and my hair. And I kept saying, I'm sick. You don't want to be sick. This is not a good feeling. I was so sick that when I pulled my blanket back and my grandma came to see me, my grandmama came to see me with my cousin, and when I pulled the blanket back to get up to go use the restroom, my grandma started crying. My grandma said, oh, Titi, because she called me Titi. She said, oh, Titi, I'm going to rub you down. And when I came out the bathroom, she had some, I think it was, what was it? I don't know if it was castor oil. It was some type of oil she had in her purse. And she rubbed my legs down, and she was praying while she was rubbing. And she said, I would put her in the mind of my auntie who had just passed. And I said, my mama say the same thing sometimes. I put her in the mind of her sister. And she was praying for me and everything. And I had no choice but to have this radiation to help with my Graves' disease. I got through that. I received hospice care, and then I had to have a nurse come out and help me get my um, coordination back together. I had vertigo, and to this day, I think of that because people will still say, you got cancer because of how you eat. You got cancer because you don't exercise. You got cancer because nobody knows what all I've been through. And I don't know what it is about me that makes people feel like I have no idea. Like, people look at me and they feel like they could talk to me any kind of way. And one day I stopped somebody when they was talking to me crazy, and I said, why me? And she looked at me and said, what? I said, why me? I said, because I know you wouldn't talk to nobody else like that. What made you think it was okay to talk to me the way you just talked to me? And she said, I didn't say nothing. You that's in your head. I didn't say nothing. No, you just blatantly disrespected me. But when somebody else came through that door, you were grinning and smiling and happy to assist them. Why did you feel it was okay to disrespect me? And oh, no, no. And I feel the same way now with going through this battle. I follow someone else on here who's going through her cancer journey, and I love her to pieces. Sometimes I go check on her channel just to see if she posted anything yet. Her name is Life with Tashana. And I love the way she documents her journey because she does it like a diary. She'll give you the day. She'll say today is January such and such and the year. And she'll let you know what she's going through or what she's doing or what she did that day. And I love watching her channel. She talks about her bald head. And I was talking about my bald head when I had it. I loved my little bald head when I had it. Um, she talks about her swelling and all that. And I love watching her, and I love watching her honesty. However, I also love the way she responds to some people's comments, because some people's comments can be so rude, and she just come back so classy with it. But I will tell you this, I've noticed that you will follow other people who are on the same journey as you, and you will see that the same people talk differently to the other person who's going on a cancer journey than the way they talk to you. I've noticed that people will sideways try to say crazy stuff about me or to me, but they won't say it to that person. Come on now. And I know that we all follow the same people because I've seen certain people in the same chats. And I'm like, wait a minute. So you talk about me for, yeah, rude. Rude. Miss Patty, when I tell you my mom had an incident and I was so heated, that's why I'm praying to God, please just keep your hand on me and strengthen me, because I want to be here for my mama and daddy and my children. My mama, she had a little incident. She went in this store called Roses. Excuse me, y'all. Now my mama loved this store. She can go in Roses and Ross and Marshalls, and she would go in these stores and she would spend her money. She went in this store called Roses, and she had an incident, and she did not tell me until like that next day, and I was so heated. And I go in that store too. She said, I went in there to return something, and I was gonna go back in there and get another one. I was just returning that one. And she said the lady was acting like she had stole it. And she was like, I had my receipt. I had it. She said, and I was just in here the day before. And she said the lady was so mean and nasty to her. I said, Mama, why you didn't tell me? Because I go in that store sometimes. I said, I ain't going back in that store no more. I ain't going back. And then when she started telling me how the lady was talking to her, Miss Patty, when I tell you, it made me want to go up there to that store. How dare you disrespect my mama, and she come in here and spend her money with y'all all the time? People are so rude these days. You don't know what people are going through. My mama is a caregiver. She is a caregiver for her mom. She takes care of her mom. She takes care of my dad. She takes care of me when I'm going through. And all she wanted to do was go in there, have her little breather moment for herself, spend her little money, you know, just you know how sometimes when you're always doing something, sometimes going shopping just helps you to get out and do something. So I understand when my mama say she went to Ross or when she went to Roses or something, I get it. So she went into this store, she bought something, and then came back the next day and was like, hey, this one don't work, so I wanted to return this one. And they treated her like she was stealing. And oh my goodness, they they were so mean to her, and the way she was saying that the lady was acting and talking to her. And then she said she told them go back and check the camera. I was just in here yesterday. And like she was like, what? I I don't understand why people are so rude these days, but I get it a lot. There have been times where, and then it's like, let me see how I can say this without sounding crazy. Sometimes God will show me what people are doing to me without me even trying. Sometimes I could do a video or something, and it'll another video will pop up the next day. It's really God showing me, because it might be somebody who I don't even hardly watch that much. God will take me to that video and show me how they talking about people with cancer, or how they'll talk about, well, I had cancer and I don't talk about it. I don't. Okay, that's you. And I'm thinking to myself, why did God take me to this video? It's because He wanted to show me. He wanted to show me that some people that I'm supporting on here, how they really feel. I have had people get in my comments and say that when I was dancing and saying that I was dancing to get out of depression, they have told me that I was lying about having cancer. They have told me that I was just using it for clout. How? I don't know, because I don't even stay. Y'all who subscribe to me, y'all know I'm not even consistent. I might be cooking one week and the next week I might be outside just talking, or y'all have seen me studying my languages. If I was trying to get clout, or if I was trying to really make it big or whatever, I think I would have been a little bit more consistent, and I think I would have exploited my family a long time ago. Okay? Because I know how this world works. If I was really trying to make a big name for myself, now I will admit, after a while, I tried to get monetized. But I even stopped that because I saw what it was. It was a rat race. It's like you constantly trying to get something that seems like it's not obtainable. But if I really wanted to um, make it big, or whatever you want to call it, I don't even know what word I'm looking for, I could have exploited my family a long time ago. You know why I say that? Because I know how this world works. I have an interracial family, and I know if I would have put my mixed kids on him and my husband a long time ago, and exploit this whole thing about being an interracial couple and having mixed kids, I could have been made it a long time ago. I have beautiful kids. I have a son who has gone through his journey. He has long hair. I could have exploited him long time ago if I really just, it about, oh, you just doing this for attention or whatever. If I wanted attention, I could have exploited my family a long time ago. I have another son who has autism, but he know the Lord's prayer better than some of the other folks' children, and he's supposed to be quote unquote nonverbal. I could have exploited that a long time ago. I came out with my truth because God put it in my heart that it needed to be seen. And the way I see it is, if God delivers you from something and He's showing Himself in your life time and time and time again, I would be a fool not to say anything. I feel like that would be a slap in the face to not mention what I have gone through, how I made it through. Sometimes I get on here and I don't feel good, but I will dance, I will smile, and then after I turn that camera off, I will lay across my bed. When my hair was real short, when it first started growing back in, and y'all saw me dancing in my bedroom, I was not feeling good. I was weak. I was tired. I had some days where I couldn't eat. And even then, I would get up and I would try to dance, and I would try to put little sayings up on the screen. I would try to um, educate people on what type of medicine I was on and all this good stuff. And after I turned that camera off, I would lay down. And I still had people saying, oh, she just doing that for attention. Uh, no, I'm doing it because when I first got diagnosed and I looked up leukemia on YouTube, you barely saw anything. You I pulled up leukemia and the only videos I saw were big companies, pharma companies doing videos. I saw this one channel called The Patient Story, where they took other people's stories and combined it together, and it was from a medical standpoint and all this and that. And I wanted to take control of my own story. I did not want to sell my story out to a big company. And then you got to think about, when you're watching their channel, the people that's going through the cancer are not the ones that's reaping from their story. It's the owner of that channel that's bringing it in. Let's just call a spade a spade. If there's a channel where they're telling other people's stories, that means that channel is getting all the views and all the monetization off of the other people's stories. I wanted to own my own story. I did not want to sit in a chair and have somebody interview me and then they monetize off of my story. When I looked up leukemia on YouTube, I only saw a couple of things, maybe four or five. And like I said, the ones that I really saw a lot on, they were like the pharmaceutical type of channels where they shared a lot of people's stories on that same one channel. I didn't like that. I wanted to hear from the patients. I wanted to hear from the person, like, how did you feel when you got the news? How did you feel when you started your chemo? I wanted to hear a real, I didn't want to hear somebody like sounded like they was reading off of a script. I wanted to know real life, real time, what's going on. Are you tired? Are you groggy? Do you have your appetite? Did your skin change? Stuff like that. So once I started going through my journey, at first I was just putting up in my clips, depression, fighting depression. I was fighting depression because me and my husband had been given the news that I had cancer, but we hadn't told my children yet. We hadn't told anybody yet. We was just waiting till the other tests come in. So that's why I was fighting depression. I didn't want to I didn't want to sink down so low to the point where it started to affect my household. I like being active in my house. I like being able to get up and cook. I like being able to get the kids' clothes and stuff ready. I like that part of my life, but when I get sick, it hits me so hard to the point where I can't operate. And I was dancing, fighting depression, and had people making comments saying, oh, she just doing this for attention. I had a family member. who had a pink bracelet on supporting his family member, our family member who had passed away from breast cancer. You're rocking the pink because you're supporting breast cancer, and then you turn around and tell somebody else that me wearing an orange bandana to support leukemia was me wanting attention. Every time I do something, people just feel like it's supposed to be, I'm just doing it for attention. She's just doing it for attention. She's just doing it for attention. At this point, yes, now I am doing it for attention because people need to understand what's going on with cancer and that medicine has changed. People need to see that they can do this, they can fight this, and I want to be that voice. There's a young man on here who he's going through chemo and um, I forgot what it's called. He's going through a stem cell transplant also, but it's due to his sickle cell, and he's getting so much love his way, and he's getting so much. I don't know, like they're lifting him up, and then I went to go try to support his channel, and I was like, oh, okay. So I'm thinking I'm supporting anybody who's going through this. When I saw how much he was cussing and saying the N word and yeah, bye, they're doing all that, I said, no wonder. No wonder they're lifting him up. No wonder he's going viral and all of this. See, I'm not finna do that. I'm not gonna diminish myself. I've come too far. I have come too far to let the chase of a dollar or the chase of a name pull me down. I have come from a lot. I used to have a hot temper. I've been through a lot. And being delivered, once you're delivered and once you feel that freedom of not constantly feeling uh, like you mad at everybody or whatever, is no going back. Because the peace that I have now is unmatched. It's people will say, oh, you always talking about the Bible, or you always talking, what is your religion? I had somebody ask me that before because they heard me say Yahuwah, they heard me say Yahuwah. And they was like, well, what is your religion? Because you sound like one of them crazy people. You sound like one of them crazy people. That don't bother me no more either. You can call me crazy. You can call me whatever. I'm just trying to live my life, be happy, be at peace. But I do want people to know that medicine has changed. And pay attention when people are trying to tell you their story, because you never know when it may hit you or somebody you love. Pay attention. Like I said, with Life with Tashana, I love the way she documents her journey. She does it with such class. Like I said, I'm still working on me. God is still working in me. Um, when she responds to the rude and nasty comments, thank you, Miss Patty. when she when she responds to the rude comments, she does it in a way. And I told her one time in her chat, she put what the other person said, the comment that the other person said above her, and she responded to them in a short. And I told her in the comments, I said, you did that so so eloquently. Because if that would have been me, I would have had to I would have had to get them told. I would have had to get them told. And like I said, I will go to your channel. I will look you up. I will watch all your videos just so I can hit certain key points when I come back at you, and I will hurt your feelings. So that part of me, God is still working on me, because I am that one. I don't like the I don't like to start trouble, but when trouble keeps tapping at me, I'ma hurt your feelings. I'ma hurt your feelings. I just I just hate that people are so reluctant. How can I put it? My mama always say, look at the source. Look at the source. When somebody trying to tell you something, or somebody trying to steer you some way, look at the source. Look at what fruits they bear. Look at what they got going on. And I just want to say, nobody wants to hear my story because I don't come with a certain mannerism. I'm not coming at y'all cussing, and I'm not cleaning my house and doing a voiceover where I'm cussing every other word. I'm not half naked. I'm not shaking my behind. I'm not, so there are other people who are going through their cancer journey and they get way more views. They get way more notoriety because they got their breasts hanging out. They gapping their leg open and all that, or they cussing all the time. So of course, what's wrong is right and what's right is wrong. That's the times we living in now. So when people try to come at me in a nasty way, I just look at the source. I look at their content and I listen to their words. I listen to who they watch or whatever, and I put it together. I put two and two together, and I say that's why. That's why. You got some people on here that talk about my fruit trees. I love my fruit trees. And I say it all the time. I told my husband one day when we was sitting at the kitchen table that I wanted me a peach tree. We was sitting at the table eating some peaches, and I said I want me a peach tree. And I was telling him about the way I grew up watching my grandparents have a garden, and I longed for those days. And while we was eating the peaches, he pulled out a napkin, and he set the seeds on the napkin, and he said, "You want to have a peach tree?" I said, "What you doing with that?" I thought, cause I was finna. Well, I'm the type where when we finish eating whatever, I just start wiping everything off the table and stuff and put it in the trash. I'm thinking I'm finna go throw it in the trash. He said, we're gonna have a peach tree." And next thing you know, we got 12 peach trees. Thank you, Miss Patty. I know they love negativity, and I can't do it, Miss Patty. It's like at first I was trying to chase that, like I want to get monetized because I want to put myself in a better position, and I I was going through so much at the time. I was like, I need to get monetized. I need to get monetized. But when I saw the things that get pushed forward, and when I saw the type of content that people like to take in, I said it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. I put out there what I want to put out there. I keep doing what I've been doing. Sometimes y'all gonna see me cooking. Sometimes y'all gonna see me in my garden or whatever. Sometimes you're gonna see me dancing. But I will not compromise myself chasing a dollar. All money ain't good money. And if I feel like I gotta embarrass my children or not be, um, I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings or nothing like that, but I don't want to be the type of woman that feel like I have to do some things that are not fit for a young lady just to make a dollar. I don't want to sell myself. I've come too far in life. I have never had to do things like that, so I'm not going to start now. Now, I always have had a temper. That was my thing was my temper. I always have had a temper. And that's what made me, at one time, I had started taking classes because I was like, if I'm gonna be if I'm gonna be out there, I better learn how to do it right. So I had took self defense classes first, and my children don't know it, but the reason why I put them in taekwondo is because I did taekwondo as an adult. I did taekwondo when my children started going to school. It was something for me to do while they was in school, and I put my children in there when I saw that I had one son that didn't like to fight. I saw somebody push him one day and he was like, I don't want to fight him. I don't want to fight him. I said, he going to keep on pushing you then. That's what I told him. And he came in the house and he was like, I don't want to fight. I just want to play. I just want to play. And I knew right then, put this boy in taekwondo. But I had a temper. That was my issue. And my temper always came when it came to my family. You could say anything you want to say to me. Cause I can get you told, like I said, once I know your background, once I know your story, I can get you told and hurt your feelings. I can go back and forth with you. But when it came to my family, I wanted to fight you. I wanted, especially if it came to my mom and my daddy. My mom and daddy, my cousins, my siblings, like it. Mm-mm. Nope, not going down. And I have worked on that. Thank you, Miss Pat. I try to do content that comes to me. You know how sometimes you might be sitting and say, "Ooh, that'd be a good idea," and what I do is I write it on my calendar. Or if a song keep coming in my head, I write it on my calendar and say, "I want to do a video with that song or whatever." So I do stuff like that. That's why I get offended when I see somebody come behind me and try to talk about me in their videos, but they try to do it in a slick way. But I know what's I know Peach. I know she has the same thing that I have, and I could tell. And she said she could tell with me too. But we have this thing where we can see certain things and we could feel it. So if I go to your content and I see you doing certain things or whatever, and you say certain things, I can tell when it's directed towards me. I could tell. Good morning, good morning. April Showers Network. um. Oh, and I know you can attest to this too. April Showers, I was just talking about how when you going through, how people have so much to say. They have and I can't stand when somebody try to tell you how your story was. If I'm telling you the truth and saying this is what I went through, you don't come behind me and say, well, well, this is what it really probably happened. How you gonna tell me what probably happened? And I was right there. This is exactly what happened. This is my story. Yeah, when I tell you, April, I sometimes I hesitate coming on him because all I want to do is just share my journey, share a couple of laughs sometimes, play a little good music, and that's it. But all the rest of that stuff, I I just can't. I can't. And when people try to rewrite my story or try to down me for going on this cancer journey, like I chose it. They acting like I chose it. Like I woke up one morning and said, you know what, I wanna have cancer so I can get attention. What? What? This was the last thing on my to-do list. You hear me? I I did not choose this. This thing chose me. And sometimes I have to tell myself, is this why it chose me? Because I am tougher than I thought I was. I didn't realize how strong I was until I had no other choice. When I saw that I had to fight this thing by myself, when I saw that uh, the people that I thought would be there for me wouldn't, when I saw that I really, really had to toughen up and get ready for this fight, that's when I knew, oh, it's real. It's real. When that doctor give you that news and say it's cancer, we all know what go through your mind. But don't nobody want you to say it. Don't nobody want you to say what you really feel. Nobody want to hear the truth. They just want you to doctor it up so it'll make them feel good. They want you to say what they want. They want you to say what they want to hear to make them feel better while you the one that's fighting. So I'm going to be real with y'all. The feeling that I'm feeling right now is that I'm confused at how God really feel about me. I'm confused. I have watched people sell dope, sell their body. I have watched people mistreat their loved ones. I have watched people fight their grandparents. And when I tell y'all this, I'm not saying it just to be talking out the side of my neck. I've watched this. When I tell y'all I grew up watching a lot of stuff, I have watched the people that have done the dirtiest, most low down things you can think of be blessed. I was always to myself, but I was always caught up in some mess. It's like people always put my names in things that I didn't do. I was always the child that had to defend myself. Like I wasn't even over there. I distinctly remember a few incidents where I was telling people I wasn't even over there. I didn't say this. I didn't do this. And nobody believed me. Nobody ever believed me. I will never forget somebody slung me into a bathroom and tried to put himself on me, unstrapping his belt buckle. I still remember that day like it was yesterday, and I was 6 years old. I screamed and I fought so hard. And I had on a white dress. I would never forget screaming so hard and fighting so hard, and I hit him on his face, and he stood up and said, "You are scary. You so scary." He was pissed off at me because I hit him. He said, "Get out of here with your scary self." I distinctly remember everybody telling me I was lying. Don't you say that, because you can get him in trouble. Don't say that. And to this day, I'm in my 40s, and I still have people telling me, don't say that. Every time I say my truth, don't say that. Don't talk about that. Don't say that. My truth is, right now, I feel like God does not like me. I watch other people mistreat their children, cuss their children out, throw their children on other people. And they have neurotypical children. Do you know how hurtful that is to have children that are on the spectrum? I have a son that's in his 20s that has autism. I know how it feels to have a child not be able to say, Mama, I love you. I know how it feels to have a child that'll just take off running, do things that could possibly hurt him, and then the school call you and they're basically trying to say you're doing something to the child. I know what it feels like to have a child that's chipping paint off the wall and eating it because they have something called pica. See, I know all of this, but I have watched parents get out the car at the store with their child and cuss them out. Bring your ass here. Grab their child up by the collar. Talk to their child like they their age. Sit your ass down right here. You better not move. They have neurotypical children. They have children that can talk to them. They have children that can say, Mama, I fell. I hurt myself. They don't know how it feels to have a child that can fall, hurt themselves, and can't express that to you. You see it when you put them in the tub. Oh my goodness, what happened to your knee? And that child can't say nothing. The child just look at you. They can't express that they fell. But the person that's cussing their child out, slinging their child all around, God will give them a child that can talk to them. And here it is. I'm just loving on my children, talking to them, hoping that one day God will open their mouths up and allow them to be able to talk to me. I'm really starting to think God does not like me. When I was 6 years old and that happened to me, years later, that same person got locked up for date grape. I gotta say grape on this platform, but I asked, I said, what did he get locked up for? And when I found out, nobody ever apologized to me. Nobody ever mentioned that. It was like it was a secret that was supposed to just. I'm really starting to think God just left me alone a long time ago. Don't you say nothing. Don't you talk about it. Thank you, April. No matter what I go through, it's like people just want me to be quiet about it. When I was going through my thyroid disease and I was losing all that weight and stuff, it's like when I was trying to tell people, people were saying, "Oh, you lost so much weight, you look good. You look good, girl." And I'm like, "No, that's my health. It ain't good." They didn't want me to say that part. Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. No, it's the truth. I lost a lot of weight because my thyroid. Don't say that. You look good, girl. Uh, I'm trying to tell you the truth. Skinny don't mean healthy. I lost all this weight because my thyroid. Then the diagnosis of cancer. Well, the doctor said I got cancer. Well, we ain't gonna claim that. Don't you claim that. No, it is what it is. I got cancer. That's why I've been feeling so bad. That's why I've been so sick. That's why it's hard for me to stand for a long time. That's why I've been getting the bruises all over my body. That's why my ear started bleeding out of nowhere. Don't you say nothing. We not gonna claim that. Don't you say it. Don't you talk about it. Okay? Found out somebody stealing from me. Okay? While I'm going through cancer. Why would you do that while somebody already going through? I don't know. Okay? Found out somebody stealing from me. I say, doggone it, I can't believe somebody stole from me. That's what I'm sitting there saying, like, oh my goodness. And I'm looking through all my paperwork and everything. I'm calling the banks and stuff. You don't even know. Don't you say that because you don't even know. You don't even know if that's who it was. Now you don't want me to say that someone's stealing from me while they're stealing from me while I'm going through cancer. You don't want me to mention it. Okay. Thank you, Miss Payne. I'm having a hard time. And I know they say, think of Job, think of Job. But I'm having a hard time because I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. Now I still get in that kitchen and cook up some things for my boys, and I don't eat everything I'm cooking, but I have gone back into my sugar pit. That's what I call it, my sugar pit. But sometimes when you're going through a lot, you feel like that little moment of happiness is all you got. See, April, that's what I'm talking about. I had so many people that didn't even text me, no nothing, no call. So I know you completely understand. You know what hurt me one time, April? In my family, twins run in my family. It's not a whole lot of us that have them, but they do run. My daddy is a twin, and he had aunties that were twins, and I have two cousins that are twins. Two sets of cousins that have twins. So what hurt me one time was Beyonce announced she was having twins or she had twins or something, and my family were all sending congratulations to Beyonce on social media for having twins. They were even like, they were even posting on their page like, Beyonce had twins. Oh my goodness, twins, 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 twins. And I'm like, none of y'all showed up for me when I had my twins. Nobody. Y'all didn't call. Y'all didn't come help me. Y'all didn't send a text. No, nothing. Nothing. But these will be the same people that'll say, why you didn't come to such and such? We had such. Uh, and one day I told one of my family members, I said, y'all have cliques. They said, no, no, we don't. Exactly. Exactly. Don't let the don't let the doctors come around or nothing like that. I had when I was doing hospice care at the house, I had some days where the nurse would come to the house and just check your vitals and stuff like that. People are pretend then too. If they feel like if they feel like somebody who's professional comes around, they'll pretend like they just supporting you and like they got your back and all that, and then once that person leave, they done. They done. Or if you go through something and then later on you show up at like a event, like a dinner or something, they want to hug on you. They want to, oh, there go my niece, there go my cousin, there go my sister. I love you. The whole time you been fighting for your life for 2 years straight. 2 years. That's right, April. And you know what? I get most of my love from, like, when I was in the hospital. I promise you, some of those nurses in there in the techs, they became like my family for real. And my online family, I tell people so much. I be like, now, my auntie Patty, I call her my auntie. Ever since I first saw her channel wasn't Patty's Kitchen Gardening more at first. It was something else. And it took me a long time to start saying her new name. Just like now, Life of Tasharia, she was Frugal Mama for a long time. So sometimes I have to catch myself from saying the wrong name. But in Boss A Denise, and Prank Couple Cooking Series, Tam Tam, April Showers, it's so many people that I watch y'all every day. If I don't see y'all, I will go looking to see if y'all have posted something, because y'all are like my real family now. Like y'all are my family that I check on, and then I want to see what y'all got going on. I want to see what you got growing in your garden. I want to see if you went to a dinner or to an event. I want to see if you posted it. If you went to church, I want to sit and I want to listen to the song that they singing when you went to church. I always have wanted that type of surrounding. I wanted to feel loved. I always have went my whole life just wanting to have a sense of belonging. Um, who else? It's a few people on here. Pre-retirement days. I love watching her with her different recipes and everything. I love the way she calmly, like, she explains what she's doing, but she said in such a calm way, and that's good coming from some of these channels. Like I said, they be cussing every other word and slapping stuff together, and I get it. That's a thing now. It's a trend. But sometimes I need something calm. I need something positive. I need something that's honest. Like, I love watching April Showers because she's honest. If it's a certain topic going on, sometimes I wait to see if you gonna post something, because I know you're gonna yeah. Sometimes I wait to see if Miss April gonna say something, because I say, she watching this, she's about to post something about this. When all that came up with the Diddy situation and all that, I said, oh, she finna say something. I couldn't wait for you to post a live, because I knew you was finna be on there. Sometimes I watch y'all live and I'm cleaning up or I'm cooking or whatever, but I will prop y'all up, or either I will put y'all up on my living room TV just so I can hear what y'all want to say, what y'all got going on. and it it pulls me out of a funk. Sometimes I'm feeling low, sometimes I'm feeling a little down, but when I check on my YouTube family and some of my social media friends, I guess if you want to call them, sometimes it brightens my day. Sometimes it brightens my day. Just like when I was going through all this, I got the news that Philadelphia strand is trying to come back. They say it's a small amount, but they can see that it's trying to come back. When I got that news, I stopped posting. I didn't post nothing else. I think the last video I posted was that cabbage my husband had brought home. But I just watched y'all. I just watched. Sometimes I didn't even say nothing. I just watched, and some of y'all had me laughing. Some of y'all had me agreeing with y'all like I was like your amen corner. I'm watching y'all saying, I know that's right. But it pulled me out of that funk. I was feeling real down, real low. And I was saying, oh, it's just always something. I just knew 2026 was going to be a better year. And it seemed like at the very beginning of the year, I got that phone call January the 5th. I got a phone call saying, we see something. And it's almost like my world just stopped. But I can't be too upset because they already told me. They gave me the the statistics, the numbers. They told me it's a chance that it may come back. They told me it's a chance I may end up in ICU. Well, they said that part for the transplant. They said some people's bodies reject the transplant and you may end up in ICU. So I had to sign certain paperwork stating that if I'm in ICU and I cannot speak for myself, these are the people that I give permission to speak for me. And it's humbling. It's very humbling to have to sign paperwork like that, especially when you know you're surrounded by a bunch of people that really don't care. So it makes you sit and think, if something was to happen to me, who would have my best interest at heart and who would be just nonchalant about everything, or who do I not even want in the room at all? You literally have to put all this on the paper. Like if it's if it's somebody who you know would come in there and pull the plug if they had the chance, you better let them doctors know while you still able to say something. You better make sure you have it written. I do not want this particular person around me at all if I am in a state where I cannot speak for myself, where I cannot function. If anything is going on with me, I want this person to be able to handle my medical, um any decisions that need to be made. Now my brother is very good about that. See, now I want to say this. Now my brother, he's my donor. I know everybody know that my big brother is my donor. He's 10 years older than me. And like I said, I'm the baby. I'm the baby out of my mom's kids. And my brother is the type where if I tell him this is the way I want it to go, he's going to try his best to make sure it goes exactly how I want it to go. And his wife, I call her my sis because I've been knowing her since I was young. My, my brother married her when I was young. I was still riding my bike up and down the street. But my sis, she is also that type where if I say this is what I want, they gonna make they gonna make sure that things run smoothly. So I had to go back, change some paperwork to say, look, and I had to put both of their full name on there. I had to make sure their name is on there. You can't just say my brother. You can't just say my sister. You can't. You have to put their name on there and say, these are the people that can speak for me if I need help or if I cannot speak for myself. Y'all, it when I say it's very humbling. I had to even put down who I would want to come pick up my body if I was to pass away. Now, if that don't humble you, I don't know what will. I had to put down my religion, how I would want them to handle me, and who I would want to pick up my body. Now, how about that? Nobody talks about that part. Nobody talks about when you are given that cancer diagnosis, you start thinking about you don't want to leave this world. You're not ready to leave this world. But if I go, who gonna take care of me? Who gonna handle me? Who gonna make sure things are done the way I would want, or would they take that opportunity to make it about them? Who would take that opportunity and see how much they can get from it? Because you got some people out there that'll do that now. You got some people out there that'll say, what can I get out of this? Yeah, 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 I know she gone, but what was her insurance looking like? That's what people don't talk about. And now that I'm on here trying to shed a little light on and be honest about it, I'm getting the backlash. Why? Because I'm not making it look all glamorous for you? Yeah, me jumping around and dancing, that was one thing, but sometimes you got to sit it down and have a real life talk. Just like you got to talk with your kids sometimes. I love playing with baby Cinco and laughing with him. He always giving me a joke of the day and everything. But I had to give my 9-year-old son all the talks that I would have with him as he grow up because I don't know what my tomorrow is. So I had to make sure I talked to my son about how you treat young ladies, how you talk to them. I had to talk to him about puberty. I had to talk to him about when girls around you start going through puberty. You don't be mean to them. You be nice to them because everybody has to go through it. This is real life. This is what happens. You don't bully somebody who's going through changes in life. I had to have this talk with him early on because I don't know what my tomorrow is. So I want to start putting in his head right now the things that I would teach him when he's a little bit older, maybe 12 or 13 or something like that. I had to start talking to him like when I first got diagnosed, I had to start talking to him, you know, putting little nuggets in him. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Nobody want to hear the truth. Nobody want to hear the real deal. They want you to glamorize everything and say things that make them feel sweet, make them feel good. But I'm just gonna be honest with you. It don't even necessarily have to be cancer. You get any type of health diagnosis or whatever, you gonna have people come to you telling you all kind of stuff what you should have did and what you could have did and how you gonna do, and they be real negative and nasty with you. And meanwhile, you sitting there thinking to yourself, "I'm the one that got to deal with this." You sitting there thinking to yourself, "How am I do this?" You People don't take into account you already thinking about your medicine. You're thinking about appointments. You thinking about different appointments because you got to go to your primary care. You got to go to a specialist. You got to go to what is it? Pulmonary testing. You got to go to uh, cardiovascular testing. You all of this is in your mind, and then you got somebody in your face being nasty and negative and ugly with you. You in pain. April Shop, I didn't know you be in pain every day, but I will say this: when you tell your truth, I be front row and center. I pay attention to everything. When you start speaking on how you went through, oh, and me and my daughter was watching you when you was on that little what you call it, the camera thing where it goes around you and you was dancing and you had on your pink. Me and my daughter, we was cheering you on. We was like, I know that's right, April, you better dance for that celebration for the survivors. I think you went to a celebration for the survivors. Ooh, I haven't even counted how many I take. I got my bag in the bed with me. I'm shaking my bag so you can hear, but that's how many pill bottles I have, and that's one thing that they're about to change. They're about to change my medicine regimen. They're gonna change the type of TKI that I'm on, and I do have some pain medicine. People are always say, "Oh, you all right? You could do this, you could do that," but they don't realize I'm fighting every day. Like you said, every day. Some days I have my good days where I feel like maybe I get a little pain in the evening or sore. For me, that's a good day. If I can go all day and I'm feeling fine, have energy, and then at the end of the day, I start to feel it, to me, that's a good day. But most of the time, I'm in pain a lot, especially my bones. Thank you, Miss Patty. She say we're courageous. Um, I just, I've been through so much that it just, it's at this point now where I'm just, oh my goodness. I try to push through everything, but sometimes it just get to be too much. That's why I had to pull back from putting content out there because um, I had to concentrate on my mental. I had to pull myself together. And like I said, I'm not willing to do everything and anything for money. I know I was trying to get monetized, but I'm no longer trying to get monetized because I don't want to put myself in a situation where I start just putting anything out there. And, I have to understand that I am a wife and I am a mother. And God has given me that, and I don't want to neglect that which has been given to me chasing a dollar. I do not want to neglect my responsibilities around the house. I do not want to neglect my children if they need mama's attention or whatever. And I know that I could do videos with them. However, I'm very protective about my children, so I don't want them seeing too much in the camera. Sometimes here and there is okay, but I don't want to put my children out there. And you know what? When I used to be monetized on an old channel, I had a old channel. It's over 10 years ago. I had a hair channel, and I was monetized on there. Excuse me. And the reason why I wasn't in such a rush to get monetized on this channel is because I remember back then when I was monetized, sometimes I was barely getting enough to like pay a cell phone bill. Like they make you really, really exert yourself to try to get that little money. And then in order for you to really make it big and make big money, it's almost like you have to compromise yourself in some type of way. You have to neglect something. You have to Something has to be lost in order for you to really, really make big bucks on here. And I'm just not willing to do that. I'm not willing to, um, like I said, I'm not willing to show my behind. I'm not willing to like, I get on here and dance and have fun, but it's just certain things that I see people get monetized with that I'm not willing to do. Some people get monetized because they do things consistently every day, of course. However, the people that's making the big, big bucks, the big, big bucks, I saw one lady on here talking about how she made thousands of dollars or whatever. But when I looked at her content, I was like, oh, that's why. So what she does is she cleans her house and she does a voiceover. In her voiceover, she's cussing the whole time. Excuse my French, y'all, but I'm just giving y'all an example. She will come on her video doing a voiceover and she'll say, "Hey y'all lazy assholes, I'm up here cleaning my house again. Yeah, 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 it's nasty, I know, but you know, it's like what? She'll start it out with like y'all lazy assholes and she calling people the B word I and then the whole time she got on this like I have these onesies so I know how they are. It's nothing to be like cleaning up in if you're worried about your your tail, like my grandmama would say. Girl, get in there, put on some real clothes before you mess your tail up. So some of these people who make a lot of money, they showing their tail, they cussing every other word, and they bending over, acting like they cleaning and cooking, but really they just trying to give like a little light peep show or whatever. And those little onesies, let me tell y'all, I have some just because I thought they was cute. I barely, if I wear it, it's only for a few minutes. Let me tell you, because if you got to use the bathroom in the middle of the night, or if you in the middle of cleaning and you got to go pee, those things are not to be worn around the house all day. I'm just gonna say it like that. First of all, it's riding up your tail every time you move. And then when you go to the bathroom, you gotta take the whole shebang. You gotta take the arms off, you gotta unbutton, you gotta put it all the way down, you gotta take off the whole it's just like having a cat suit on. You gotta take off the whole thing just to go pee. And it, and us ladies, we have to do that. Not unless y'all got something I don't know about, not unless y'all doing something I don't know about. However, I was watching some of these folks that's talking about they making all these thousands of dollars and they have the same thing. Either they cussing folks out, being mean and nasty to people, starting drama with other channels, stuff like that. I can't do it. I can't do it. I tried following another content creator that I thought was like a gardener, and I thought she was all about stocking up and everything. After after watching about four of her videos, I was like, oh hell, she's one of those. She just like starting drama with other channels. Any channel that she feel like is doing better than her, she like starting trouble with them. And I had to back away. I had to unsubscribe. I unsubscribed from people who I feel like are filled with drama, negativity, and especially if I feel like you are the type where you're a hater. I can't deal with haters. You can't get mad at another channel, and then start making all your content directing towards hating them, or sending negative things their way. I can't. I'm trying. You laughing at me, Miss Patty? And y'all know I'm telling the truth though. They be they be tooting over uh and trying to show it. girl, all us got to tell. So apparently I'm not your audience. Your audience is the male. You know, you want the men's attention. So why are you talking to us like you talking to women, and you saying get your lazy ass up and clean this shit up and da 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 da. You doing all this and you acting like you talking to women, but you really directing your content to men. Cause all of us got a tail. All of us got the two things at the top. So you're not directing your content at me. Unsubscribe. I can't do it. I can't sit here and watch you flash your tail around and cussing every other word and feel comfortable. It feels weird. It feels weird. I know. I know, right? Some of these folks I just, and then I saw another lady where they were saying, oh, she cooks on her hibachi grill. Now I have a hibachi grill back there. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna check her out. You know, when people tell me to check out a certain channel, I say, okay, I'm gonna check them out. So I go to this channel, and my husband just happened to be standing in the kitchen with me while I was watching on my phone, and I propped my phone up so I could watch to see what she was doing. And she went out to that hibachi, and her tail just a wobbling and shaking, and she just, you could tell she was trying to show a little something for the men. Like I said, you directing it to the men. And then in the video, this the part where my husband said, oh, heck no. He said, oh, no. Yeah, my husband don't cuss either. When the man, she said her husband, when the husband came and smacked her on her tail and started kissing on her for the camera and stuff and all that, then she went back to, fixing on the grill, and then she fixed the plate and gave it to him. And this is how you supposed to treat your husband. This is how you keep a man and all that. And my husband said, I started to say my husband's name. My husband said, he ain't got no respect for you if he want everybody to see his wife behind to the point where we see the where we see the cup. And we started talking about it. He said, now if another man can see the bottom half of your woman's behind, he don't love you. He don't love you because he want other men to respect you. He want other men to respect what he got, and he want other men to look at him and say, dog, he got a good woman. He said, but if another man can look at your woman and feel like he can hit it if he wanted to, he said that right there said it all. But when I tell you she is making major money on this platform, she is. And it's almost like her husband is selling her out. Oh, you laughing at the onesie? those onesies are not, they cute, but they are not comfortable to be talking about you cleaning your whole house in a onesie. The onesies that got the short, and that's the one I got. I got about two or three of them. And I got them because they got the little cartoon characters and stuff on them, and I thought they was cute. But then I wore them, and I was like, hold up, wait a minute, not comfortable. Not going to sleep in this, and not finna be cleaning my whole house with this. No, no. But yeah, my husband said some of those women on there that be talking about they doing this and that for their husband show up in the shot and the husband be gripping on them and grabbing on them and stuff. He said, nah, that ain't love. That ain't love, cause I don't want everybody to see my I don't want everybody to see my woman the bottom of her behind. And he said the thing about it is when you're a man and you comfortable with yourself, you want other men to respect everything you got. He said you want another man to respect your children, your house, your wife. You don't want no man to come up around you and feel like he could take anything you got, and that's including your woman. And that was coming from a man. That my husband is a man's man. He's a he's a old school country man. And when he said that, it made a lot of sense. Because when you think about it, it's the same thing with your children. You don't want another man feeling like he can mistreat your daughter or talk to your daughter any kind of way. Once he meets you and once he meets your daughter, he should feel something that say, I can't mess with that one. That man do something to me. you know, I, when anybody come into your house, well, my granddaddy taught me this too. He said, if anybody come in your house and they see you disrespect your house, they won't have no problem with disrespecting your house. Ooh, that hit me so deep when my granddaddy told me that. He told me that when I didn't have my car then, but that was when me and my husband first started dating, and I used to be able to drive his car sometimes when he went to work. And I told my papa, I said I'm gonna go and clean out the car because me and the boys been riding to the store, and they got some fries in the back seat. And he said, oh yeah, he said take care of your car. He said take care of everything you got. And he said when people see you respect your people or your things or your place, they respect it. He said, but if they see you're disrespected, they have no problem with disrespecting it. And that's when he told me about the house situation. He said, if somebody come up in your house and they see you neglect your own house, you disrespect your own house, they have no problem with disrespecting your house. He said, just think about it like this, T. He said, if if somebody come in your house and you got trash all on the floor, you think they gonna ask you where the trash can at when they finish their food? He said they not, cause they see you disrespected. And, he was trying to teach me a few things. That's when he knew he was going through his battle, but he just wasn't telling us. He chose not to have any treatment, but he started kind of giving me nuggets, and he started telling me about my husband. He's the type that when he get paid, he gives me the money to pay the bills and the mortgage and everything. So my granddaddy told me, he said, when he give you that money, you make sure you pay the roof over the house first. You pay. Let me make sure I'm saying it right. He said you pay for the roof over your head first. He said, be it the rent, mortgage, whatever it is, you always pay your rent first. You pay where you lay. He said, then you go down the list with the bills, down to the one that's least important. So he said, you pay your roof, then you pay your power. But he said, if all else fails, you pay that for that roof over your head. And if you have to light a candle for light, nobody will have to know. But you still have a place to lay your head. So that was the way he was teaching me when he found out that my husband would give me the money so I could delegate um, the household finances. My granddaddy taught me how to make sure everything was lined up and in order. And then he taught me, put some to the side, even if it's just $20 a month. Put something to the side. Don't touch it because you never know when an emergency would, come up. Miss Pat, that's the way he taught me. That was years ago. Me and my husband, we started dating 24 years ago. And when we started dating, we moved in together 6 months after we started dating. And my granddaddy, he loved my husband. When he first met him, he just knew. He said, that's going to be your husband right there. And then when he found out when we moved together, when he found out our dynamics of how we was making it work, that's when he started trying to teach me, okay, this is what you do, T. This is how you handle that. This is how you put this in order. And I learned a lot from my grandparents. But he used to always say, you pay the roof over your head first. You make sure that's done. When he give you some money, you make sure you pay for that roof over your head. He said, in that way, if all else fails, Nobody got to know any of your business. He said, if you got to burn a candle in your house, you still got a roof over your head. But ain't nobody got to know that you burning a candle. Ain't nobody. He said you are safe from the elements. You got that roof over your head. So I still follow that to this day. I tried to teach my daughter when I was first diagnosed with cancer. I tried to teach my daughter um, how to manage the house, but she was going through her thing at a time where she felt like, I'm grown. I don't need to know this. You don't need to tell me this, and all of that. But at the time, my train of thought was, I have to teach somebody this, because if I have to leave this world, I want y'all to know how to go on. I want you to know how to survive. And I try to teach them my gardening techniques. I don't know what it is about me, but when I speak, people tend to brush me off. That goes for anybody. I talked about it before. I was once on a gardening platform, and it was on a live. And when I started speaking on something that I do, it was like it was laughed at. They kind of brushed me off or whatever. They acted like I didn't belong in the group, basically. So now I don't really associate myself with being a part of the garden community. However, I do have certain techniques that are old school. I grew up with my grandparents that are they didn't go out to the store to buy something every time they had to plant their garden or do anything in the garden. They used what they had. They used things that they had around the house to do what they had to do. That's the way I was raised. I was raised where we don't go out to the box store every time it's a new season, or every just different things like that. So for some reason, people just don't listen to me. I don't know what it is about me, but whatever. I Through this whole journey, I have learned to accept it. In the very beginning of this journey, I was like trying to get people to listen to me, trying to persuade people to listen to what I was saying about the medications that I was taking and about the side effects and the things that I experienced before I was diagnosed with cancer, so that they'll know the signs to look out for, so that maybe if it's happening to them, they can catch it early. But nobody wants to listen, or either they will try to say, oh, you're just doing this for attention, or whatever the case may be. But I try to pass on things the way things were passed on to me. I try to speak up. I try to share information, and I don't know if it's because of the way I bring it up, or because I do have an issue with words sometimes, which is crazy because I'm a reader. But I sometimes I do believe that I may be on the spectrum, but just was never diagnosed. But sometimes I know what I want to say, but I have a problem with trying to relay it in the right way. And I don't know if that may be the reason why people do not take me so well. I no longer try to be in groups on this platform. Hmm? You know, I sometimes I know exactly what I want to say, and I be like, but how do I say it? Like I don't know. But yeah, I lose my train of thought a lot. And now they say that I still have chemo brain. I thought I was kind of over it, but they say that I have lingering something. I forgot the name that they say, but it's like a lingering side effect. And I get so frustrated sometimes because it seems like people get frustrated with me when I'm trying to say something, or they cut me off a lot, or like they try to find a lie in what I'm saying. Oh, that's a big pet peeve of mine. Like, if I'm trying to tell you something that's my truth or what I went through or what's going on, it's like, stop trying to find the lie in it. Stop, like, what? Stop trying to minimize what I'm saying to you in order to make yourself feel good. Like, what are you doing? I'm sitting here telling you exactly what happened. I have people around me where I can literally look out my window right now and say, it's raining. And they'll say, no, because I had heard it snowing where you live. I'm looking out the window now. I started talking slower to make sure I'm saying it correctly. Like, I'm looking out the window now and it is raining. So sometimes I'm thinking, is it my chemo brain or is they just not willing to hear what I'm saying? Am I saying it right? But anyway, yeah, I'm going through that now. I'm going through that a lot. And it's so frustrating going having chemo brain. They said that mine is lingering, so they said some people deal with it for years after having chemo. And the fact that I had chemo and total body radiation back to back, they feel like that's the cause of mine lingering for so long. They just want to be. I know they just want to be right. I be looking like, what? I can say how I feel, and they'll try to turn around the way I feel. I be like, dog, I'm feeling kind of down today, so I'm gonna listen to some music today to make me. No, you just saying that because such stuff. You're like, what? Why do you keep trying to change whatever I say? It's almost like now I'm getting to the point where I kind of want to go on a, you know how some people be saying you have to fast, you have to go for like a whole day without eating, fast and pray and all that. I'm thinking I need to fast away from talking. I really honestly think I need to take about 2 or 3 days where I just don't say anything. I want to know, how would the people feel around me who always trying to, like you said, always just want to be right, or just always cutting me off or whatever while I'm talking. I wonder how they would feel if I just completely just stopped talking and just put it in God's hands. Like, I'm just going to stop talking for a whole day or for 3 days. That's going to be my way of fasting, because apparently people don't want me to talk anyway, or if I do talk, they're going to try to find a lie in it or find some kind of. When I was practicing languages, I still practice languages, by the way. Right now I'm studying Russian, and I'm also practicing, do I want to say what else I'm learning? I'm learning something else that has nothing to do with languages, and I might share that later. I might share that in February. I'm debating on it because every time I try to share something, then people be like, I got a sister, cousin, friend that speaks Spanish, or you speaking it wrong, or you said this wrong, or you said that wrong. You didn't pronounce this right. You didn't. It's something that I'm just doing as a hobby. That's the same thing with gardening. I garden as a hobby. I don't garden as a competition. I don't garden to try to be the perfect. Like, I don't garden for it to look like it's in a landscape magazine. I garden because I love to be able to provide right out of my backyard. I love watching my fruit and my veggies grow. I love going out there and picking it. It's just a whole vibe for me. It's a hobby. With the language learning, it's a hobby. It's just like my mama, she loved doing puzzles. I can't do a puzzle to save my life. My mama can sit there and do 1,000 piece puzzle and be sitting there munching on her little peanuts and twiddling her toes and fixing that puzzle. I can't do that. That's her hobby. I'm not gonna go up on her and be like, you should have put that piece over there. That's her hobby. That's what's giving her peace in the moment. So when I'm studying languages or when I'm doing like my now I will do Sudoku. I I do that sometimes. It helps to give me something to do and pass the time away. Um, Sometimes I do a word find book. I love doing word finds and Sudoku. But when you share that with other people, if they feel like you're doing something that they don't like seeing you do, they will try to talk about it. They will try to diminish what you're doing, or they'll try to minimize what you're doing and like it's no big deal. Or they'll go back and do another video on their channel and that like, well, I speak another language too. And then they'll say, I wasn't directing that to you. Okay, so why all of a sudden now you want to tell people you speak another language? Okay, yeah, whatever. You doing your? Let me see. I'm finna put it on the light because I can't hardly see it. It's at the very bottom. And I was just saying that I know when people are talking. I know when people are talking to me. I know when people are talking about me. I could feel it. I could feel it. I could see it in your whole demeanor. Um, I did a video one time when I was saying I got a whole orchard out here. People talk about me about not having a garden and how you got a name called Renee Secret Garden. Well, they didn't say Renee Secret Garden. How you got a name with garden in your name, but you don't never show no garden. You dancing and stuff all in your videos or whatever. And then they laugh and it's a big joke or whatever. And then so I made it my business one morning to go out there. Um, and I said, not only do I have a garden, a kitchen garden, but I have a whole orchard back here. I have peach trees, plum trees, avocado trees, and these are things that I grew. I didn't go to a store and buy a tree. You know, like, these are things that I literally grew. Like I said, when we first started the peach tree, that was because we was sitting at the table and I told my husband I wanted a peach tree, and he spit the seed out and he put it on a napkin, and he said, "You gonna get you some peach trees," and before you know it, one thing led to another. We had some little peach trees growing in these little black pots, and now we have 12 peach trees. We have 2 pear trees, 2 apple trees, we have 2 avocado trees, we have a pecan tree. Now the pecan tree, we bought that as a baby at this farmer's market. Um, we have blueberry bush, we have blackberries, raspberries. I had somebody the very next day who don't even talk about gardening or nothing. Oh, I got a plum tree. Don't blame me because your plum tree fake. Don't blame me. All because we had already picked our plums, of course. So they feel like because I didn't have any actual plums on the tree when I did that video, that meant I didn't have a plum tree or my plum tree was fake or some whatever. No, we pick our stuff before the squirrels can get them. See, what I have is not what somebody else planted. It's not what I have is what I have put my hard work into. So anybody who really gardens knows that sometimes you're gonna have some, sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're gonna have a good season. Sometimes you may not. But this instance, it just happens to be that we had already picked the plums because we was trying to catch them before the squirrels get to them. And I had these little green nets that I was putting around the ones that I wanted to save for me. And the rest we let nature, the birds and the squirrels, we let them get the rest. And we take the ones before they're fully ripe. We take them down and let them finish ripening in a brown paper bag. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So this person in their video was like, "Don't blame me because your plum tree fake. I got a real plum tree," and it was the plum tree that was on their property before they even moved there. It was a big plum tree, and it was a plum tree that had already been established, already had been taken care of, or whatever, whatever. And it was huge. Mine's is still teenager stage, teena bopper. So I'm looking now. Like I said, me and Peach, we have this same thing where we can see certain things that other people can't see. So I'm looking and I see it in this person, and I was like, oh my God, they talking about me. He's talking about me. So you and the other one talk about me together. They talk about me together. So what did I do? I went out there and I took a quick little clip of my pear trees because I still had my pears take longer um, before we harvest those. So I took a quick little clip of my pear trees with full of pears, and I played the song. Oops, there goes another rubber tree plant. Oops, there goes another rubber. See, I tell people don't mess with me because I will come back at you. You tried to come at me slick, so I came right back at you slick, and you didn't say nothing that time. You didn't say nothing that time, just like somebody else who everybody on here loves tried to come at me sideways. I had cancer. I wouldn't even be making that my identity. My identity. I had cancer too. I wouldn't be telling everybody I had cancer. That's you. That's you. But me, it's a part of my story. So every time I want to say it, I'm gonna say it. I went through a lot. So how dare you try to make it seem like me mentioning that I had cancer is a problem for you? They, it's like they click up. They click up, and the thing about it is they think they slick, but they not slick. They click up and try to be against you, and you ain't did nothing to them. You clicking up against me because I showed my plum trees. You clicking up against me because I said I'm a leukemia survivor. I'm making that my whole identity. How I'm making that my whole identity, sweetie? When I do some videos where I don't even mention it. I do some videos where I'm just dancing just because I like the song. I do some videos where I'm just talking about making baby Cinco's breakfast before he get on the bus. You are mad because you decided not to share your story. So now you're mad because you see somebody else sharing their story. Teaming up against me will get you hurt. And not physically. It'll get your feelings hurt. Yeah, let me tell y'all. Being able to say that I'm a survivor is so big for me that people don't even realize how big it is. People don't even realize when my son was going through his brain tumor journey, he met a girl in a children's hospital. Her name was Nina. Nina was on the bone marrow unit because guess what she was fighting? She was fighting a form of leukemia. It was a different form. She had a more severe, like more the form of leukemia that she had was relentless. And it started messing with her bones. I will never forget Nina. She was a redhead girl. Her and her mom was like, both of them had this fiery red hair. And they were so sweet. They were so nice to me. When I first came in, I just wanted to be there for my son. And I didn't know which way to look. I didn't know where to go, what to do. Nina's mom saw the look in my face. She came to me and she grabbed me and she hugged me. And she said, "Mama, come in here. This is where the parents go when you need a moment." And We went into what they call the Ronald McDonald room. It's like a little family room, and they had the coffee stand in there. They had the microwave in there, and people donate little snacks in there and stuff for the parents. So she brought me in there, and she was like, I'm here with my daughter. And she was just telling me, like, she loves this, she loves that. And when she mentioned her daughter loves anime, I said, my son, he loves anime too. I said, he's into Naruto. And when I mentioned Naruto, she was like, oh, my Nina, she would absolutely love it. She said, let me give you Nina's number, and your son can text her. She's down this hall. And I said, okay, my son is down the other hall because he's fighting brain tumor. And she was like, well, right now Nina is here, but she's going to have to get sent to the bone marrow unit when she has to stay longer. And when I tell you we formed a bond with that family, we formed a bond. And when I was fighting this leukemia, I kept thinking about Nina. That poor girl was fighting this thing, and her body was so tiny. When I tell y'all, she was such a sweetheart, and she was an artist. She would sit in her room and paint and draw. And people don't want me to tell my story. I was fighting this thing not only for me. I was fighting this thing for Nina. I was fighting this thing for Miss Sarah. See, Miss Sarah is my sister-in-law. I hate to call her my sister-in-law because she's been around since I was a young girl, but my sister. Miss Sarah is my sister's mom. And people wonder why my sister fight for me the way she do. Her mom laid down her sword fighting leukemia. And my sister had my back the whole way. When I tell you, she stay a long way, but when I tell you, if I call her right now crying, she gonna pick up. She gonna talk to me until I feel better. She gonna make me laugh. And she understands. If I say my bones hurt, her and my brother, they get it. They're not gonna try to push the issue. They're not gonna try to push me to do something I don't want to do. If I say my bones hurting, I'm tired, they get it. My sister went through it with her mom. Her mom laid down her sword to leukemia. That's why I rock my orange so proudly. I rock my orange for Nina and for Miss Sarah. And I'm not gonna let nobody try to discourage me from telling my story. I'm not gonna try to let nobody make me feel bad for talking about leukemia and for raising awareness. Two people in my life who I personally that fought leukemia. Oh my goodness. April, I'm so glad you mentioned that. April, my enamel is starting to come off my teeth. And I have some dentists that are just refusing to pull my teeth. I just want to pull my teeth. The the pain in my mouth is unbearable. That's why when people be like, you be over there eating that you be over there eating everything. That's why you got cancer. That's why you got this. Or you they'll say, well, that's why you still in pain because you're not even realizing I can barely eat. That's why I say some people just need to think before they speak. I can barely eat. Just last night I ate some soup. I fixed some chicken and mixed vegetable soup. And that's about the only thing that I can really, really eat and actually get full from. It's basically soup. But the chicken has to be so tender, and even then I have to chew it slow. I want dentures. I want dentures. I want them to pull my teeth because I don't want them to just keep letting my teeth get so bad down to the point where they can't do anything. I have one that just keep chipping away. If I do try to eat something um, that has a little bite to it, that tooth will just keep chipping off. I have a little I have a little sandwich bag that I every time a piece of my tooth chips off, I just put it in the sandwich bag so I could show the dentist like this is what's happening to me. This is what's going on. Like nobody believes me, so I feel like I have to actually show proof. This is what's been happening ever since I had chemo. Like it did something to my teeth. I be in so much pain trying to eat. And then, like I said, sometimes when I do uh, get to the point where I can eat, I have to chew slow. I have to chew like on one side. If I get too happy with the food and I try to chew good, pieces of my tooth will come off. The enamel is literally coming off of my teeth. So I have to find somebody that's willing to pull my teeth so that I can get dentures. I want dentures. And people are saying, oh, you have pretty teeth. Don't you do that. Don't you do that. But they don't have to live with the pain. They don't have to live with the pain. And then if I get a root canal on all my teeth, that's $3,000 each tooth. Just go on and pull these teeth and give me some dentures so I can go on and call it a day. And plus, I think that would help with my health as well. Because if you have bad teeth and you keep letting it sit like that, if you get an infection or something, it can go down into your bloodstream. See, a lot of people don't think about it. People want you to have a certain appearance or I don't know what it is because it's me, not them. So I don't know what that is. They want things to look a certain way. But my thing is my health and me being able to chew. So I'm not looking at, the appearance. I'm looking at the functioning of it and my health. That's what I'm looking at. My like on the side, I have yeah. I'm just gonna agree because I can't explain it, but I know exactly what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying, and then they was like, well, your insurance will only cover this or whatever, and it won't cover that, but it'll only cover this. But at the same time, you asking me to have root canals and crowns, and I'm like, root canals and crowns, that's like $3,000 per tooth. Just go on and pull them. But they're giving me such a hard time with that. Such a hard time. And I, you know what, Charles? And I bet you're comfortable. Isn't it more comfortable? And that's what I said. Bad teeth can cause more harm. But like I said, it's so much going on in my life right now, and I always feel unheard. I always feel like nobody's listening to what I'm saying. I'm so glad I have someone like you on here that actually has been through it and knows that what I'm saying is not just me making something up for attention or whatever. It's the truth. And see, they was telling me that an extraction would be about $500 and a root canal would be $3,000. So my insurance is willing to only pay um 25%. I think they're giving me a hard time because my insurance went through its last year with all that treatment that I was getting last year and year before last. So now this year, I think they're trying to put a cap on a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. And see, mine's is not like that, but mine's is just starting to slowly but surely just chip away. Just chip away. Um, and they say that it could be because I received chemo and total body radiation back to back, and then I'm still taking a basically a chemo pill. They call it a TKI, and but it's like a chemo pill. So basically, my body going through that all the time is starting to affect my teeth. It is what it is, and now to know that I may be put on something stronger, um, yeah, that's a bit of a blow. Cause now that mean I don't know what this pill, this new pill that they're gonna give me, I don't know what kind of side effects it's gonna have. 70%. See now my insurance did say that if they can get a letter from the I don't know if it's from the doctor explaining that I needed it, then they would pay 70% for a total extraction to pull all the teeth, and they would pay 50% for the actual dentures. So that's what I was told, but they would have to prove that I absolutely need it. So now the thing is trying to persuade my doctor and the main dentist, because the main dentist cannot do it. She will have to send me out to a specialist. Um, which I don't understand that. Why you go to one dentist and then they gotta send you to another dentist to do an extraction? Like, what do you do? Just fillings? But another thing that they feel like could have caused it is I have old school fillings, which I should have gotten replaced a long time ago, and I'm mad at my dentist for not mentioning that. The doctor mentioned to me that the fillings that I have are old. They don't even use that material anymore. It's the metal type of fillings. And he was like, they use white fillings now. Why don't you have white fillings? Because at first, when I opened my mouth, he thought I had cavities. And he looked and he saw that those were fillings. I said, yeah, because when I had braces, they did these type of fillings. So when I went back, um, years later, like when I was in my 20s, they went back and they went over those same fillings with that same material. And he was like, no, we don't. He was like, they don't use that fillings anymore because what it does is it expands and it makes your teeth weaker. So, yeah, let me see. All over again. Yep. I so I was supposed to have the white fillings and I still have those. I don't know what it's called. It's like a liquid metal type of feeling. And what's happening is over time it has caused them to expand and basically make my teeth weaker. And now that I have had chemo and radiation on top of that, now my teeth are getting weaker and weaker. Um, so it's causing a lot of issues. But now that they see that the leukemia is trying to come back, I want to get whatever dental work I need done now before they start me on this new treatment. I don't know what the new treatment is going to be. Right now, they think they're just going to put me on a stronger medication, we shall see. And I will keep y'all posted when they let me know what's going on. But I done went off onto this whole tangent, but but yeah, I have noticed so much on this platform, and it had started getting to me emotionally, and I was like, how do I let them know that the cancer is trying to come back when I already see that I have so many people that are basically against me. And it just gives me this whole vibe of the mean girls, the mean, like, like when certain people click up. I don't like clicks. I don't like when people feel like they gotta click up against one person, because to me that's like a bully. I never have liked bullies. I was always that nerd that will fight you. I was the I was a little nerdy girl, but I was the one that you don't mess with. So I never have liked bullies, and I to this day sometimes when I'm going through with my kids, I feel like that's why God um, I feel like that's why God um, trusted me with my kids, because when I was in school, I remember uh, taking up for some of the kids that was in special needs. I remember sitting having lunch with one of the girls that was considered special needs. She was autistic. Now that I look back on it, she was autistic. I remember sitting and having lunch with her sometimes if I saw her sitting at the table by herself. And I would mess with her and be like, "What's going on?" Like, and I would go over there and she'd be like, "Oh." So sometimes I tell myself maybe that's why God uh, trusted me with an autistic child, because he knew that I was going to fight for him. He knew that I was going to try to help him as much as I could. He knew that I was going to try to protect him. Um, so that's what I try to tell myself when I get into these down type of modes, like when I'm feeling like, why is all this happening to me? Why my child? Why, why am I going through cancer? Why this and why? Then sometimes I have to just pull back and say, maybe it's because God trusted me. Thank you. You asleep? You asleep? Thank you for being here for me. I just came on because I got up and because of the rain outside my window, and I opened the window so I can kind of just sit and look at the rain. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to say something now. And I finally learned how to put my settings on subscribers only can comment. So I'm glad I did that. I finally learned how to do that. And yeah, and that's the one thing that keeps me sane now, is I have to tell myself sometimes, maybe God did that because he knew that I would protect him. He knew that if he took off running, I would run after him. He knew that I would put extra locks on the door to make sure he didn't wander out the house at night. He knew that I would put some bells on his doorknob so I could hear if he come out his room in the middle of the night to use the bathroom or something. So I used to question it all the time. Why me, God? Why me? Why would you put this on me? I just want my child to be able to talk to me. I want my child to be able to, do what the other kids are doing. I want my child to be able to go to the park and play just like everybody else. Why are you doing this to me? And I thought about it. And I don't want to say her name, but I thought about her in school when I was in high school. I thought about how I used to dap her up in the hallway. I thought about how one day I brought her a pair of jeans that, didn't fit me anymore, but she was kind of slim and she was a little bit taller than me, but her pants was always in the water. So I brought her some pants one day and I just stuffed them in her book bag because I didn't want nobody else to see. I thought about that girl and I was like, that's why God gave him to me. He knew I was going to take care of him. That's why God gave him to me. I remember one time I walked her to the bus, and I told her bus driver, I said, anybody mess with her, you let me know. And the bus driver was like, all right, and she was just laughing. And I remember, I'm trying not to say her name, but I remember she turned around and she said, she's, that girl was happy I was in her life. She was happy I was in her life. She turned around and she told me bye, and she said, nobody's going to mess with me. And she told her bus driver, she said, that's my friend. She said, that's my friend. And I watched her get up on that bus, and I said, I'm for real now. Don't let nobody mess with you. You tell me. You don't hit them. You don't fight them. You tell me. And the bus driver looked at me, and she smiled and she waved, and she said, thank you for getting her to the bus, because I saw her bus was down a little bit further. And I said, come on, your bus down here, girl. I got you. I'm going to walk with you. So her bus driver was happy that I walked her on down. But I would never forget that look she gave me when she turned around and she told me bye. And she got on that bus and she told the bus driver, that's my friend. And to this day, I think about that and I say, that's why God gave him to me. God knew that I was going to be there for him. Now, he's not living here with me now. But when he was going through all that hard stuff, because it was hard. And when I lost friends, I lost family members. Other people wouldn't even let their children play with him because they feel like autism is contagious. I saw how people don't invite you to birthday parties and stuff like that because they feel like your child is bad. I saw all that. I got him the help he needed. I worked with him, I prayed over him. I gave him detox baths. And back then, I will admit, I used to say things like autism my ass. If he tried to use that whole autism thing to not do certain things, that was one of my sayings. If he would do like he didn't want to brush his teeth, so autism my ass, you gonna brush your teeth. And I think about that to this day. I think about how that girl, when I was in high school, she was so happy that she had somebody that she could say was her friend. And when I think about my son, I be like, that's why God gave him to me. Cause sometimes people will say, oh, that's a curse. That's a curse. You must have did something to somebody. You must have did something. No, I don't think it's a curse at all. I really don't. I think he trusted me. He trusted me with him. Some of these kids have certain talents and gifts. And I get mad when I see that they have somebody around them that don't appreciate the fact that they have a gifted child or what we would call, quote unquote, a normal child, neurotypical child. You have a child that could talk to you. You have a child that's gifted, that can draw. You have a child that can write poetry. You have a child that is into fashion. And some of these parents sitting getting high every day. Child be wandering off somewhere and they don't even know where they at. They in the house high. When I stayed over there in the trailers, we had a few incidents. Now my child got out one time and that was enough for me. I was like, oh no. I started putting all these extra security locks at the top of the door and everything. But you had some parents that would be sitting in the house high, and they child would be all around the trailers. They child would be on the other side of the trailers playing in a t-shirt and diapers. And these are the people who got normal kids. You got normal kids, and you sitting in the house getting sky high. Your child out here asking other people for money. We done had kids just hang out at the dumpster, asking people for money when they get out to get it down at the mailbox. You got normal kids, and you in here high, or you in here laid out with some dude. I don't get it. Rocking back. I I have a, what they call it, a soft heart. I may come off as tough or whatever, but when I see certain things, I can't take it. Mhm. It'll do that to you. It'll do that to you. It'll make you get emotional. And all I keep thinking about is that girl when I was in high school. And then I found out later on the news that somebody did mess with her. And I was like, oh my God. I told my mama, I was like, she go to my school, she go to my school. And I never saw her no more after that. Never saw her no more after that. One of the teachers was on the news for messing with her. And I was so peeled. But you could tell now that I'm older, now that I think about it, that's what it was. She had autism. She used to sit in the lunchroom sometimes just kind of swaying or either rocking. And I think that was the way that she calmed herself. And my son, he had certain little things he did to calm himself. He still does them. He's who I call my hip hop kid. All my kids, I got like a little name for them, whatever. But my oldest twin, he's the intellectual. He's the one that told the doctor he is not autistic. That's my twin. Don't look at me. That's him. But the doctors tried to say that both of them had autism, and my oldest twin, the one who went through brain tumor, they say that he was I forgot what the word that they used to use for it. They don't use it anymore, but that's when you are basically like level 1 autism and you have certain gifts and talents. Asperger's, that's what they used to call it, Asperger's. So they said that he had Asperger's and the other twin had level 3 autism. So the one who that they said had Asperger's, he was like, "Nope, don't put that on me. That's not me. That's my twin." No. so so yeah, when they were diagnosed, um, I beat myself up a lot about it. I was like, I didn't do drugs. I was so mad. I was like, I didn't do drugs. I didn't sleep around. I like I did what I was supposed to do. I ate what I was supposed to eat. Why are you doing this to me? And once again, that that thought came in my head. I keep on trying not to say her name. That thought came up in my head where she was like, "That's my friend." And I used to like mess with her all the time. I used to try to make her laugh all the time. If I saw her in the hall or something, I'd try to dap her up or whatever. Like, what going on? If I saw she got her hair different, even if it was just like in a slick ponytail or something, I'd say, "Oh, you got your hair done. That look good. You sharp, shawty." And she just, oh, my, well, y'all probably know by now, but my name Letitia Renee. So she be like, "Oh, Letitia," like, and I still to this day hear her saying that, like, "Oh, Letitia," and then like when I noticed that her pants was always like higher, I was like, I got some pants that I know would fit her because both of us were really small, both of us were really skinny, and I was like, these pants could fit her because they fit me, and I know they'll fit her. So I bought her some pants, but I didn't want nobody to see, so I rolled them up and I put them in her book bag. And I was like, I got you some pants, but you just try them on when you get home, okay? She's like, you don't have to do that. But I still to this day remember her getting up on that bus. That was the last time I saw her. And then when me and my mom was watching the news one morning, they showed the teacher and they said what he was accused of doing. And I thought about, I used to see her down that hall. Y'all, I done went through a lot in life. I done seen too much. I done experienced too much. I done been through too much. And now I'm just at a point where I'm just like, what's going on, Lord? Like, talk to me. Show me. Like, sometimes I'll be in my car and I'm talking clearly. Like, I'm not praying to myself or whatever. I'm like talking to him like, hey, you got to direct my path. I need you right now. I need you now more than ever. I need you to show me directly what are you trying to do in my life. I'm a little slow sometimes, so you got to actually show me, like, not none of these little signs here and there because I probably won't catch it. But you know me more than anything, so I know that you feel what I'm saying when I say I need you to give me direct instructions what to do from here on out because my life is crumbling. And how am I going to tell the world about you if they looking at my life and saying, why would I want to follow her or her teachings, or why would I want to follow what she follows if her world is flipped upside down? So I need you, Lord. I need you. I need you to come in and direct my path. And I just talked to him and I let him know straight up, I need you to be the driving force. I need you to take the driving seat because me, I can't do this thing. I need you to do it all for me. I need you to step in and I need people to see you in my life. If they looking at my life and they see it's nothing there to prove, nothing there to show, then they not gonna want to follow you. It's just, it's not possible. So I need him to show up for me now more than ever. I need him to show up and clear my mind with all the negative, um, the negative thoughts, the darkness that I'm going through right now, the heaviness that I'm going through right now. I need the Most High in my life right now. I need just a little glimpse of light. Just a little glimpse would give me the motivation that I need to keep going. And I need him to be direct with me. I need him to show me exactly what he need me to do. Oh yes. Oh yes. I I have to constantly ask him, Lord, what you need me to do now? Even when I'm dropping my kids off at the ABA center, I've heard some negative comments about ABA and I've heard some positive comments about ABA. They're doing the ABA and they're doing the speech therapy and stuff like that. When I drop my boys off, I be like, Lord, I need you to step in. I need you to protect my boys while they're here and protect all the children that's in here. Protect them all. Be with them, comfort them, love on them. You know, show your grace. But I need God to step in my life because um, I want to be that encouragement for other people. I want him to use me to draw people to him, if that makes any sense. But the world that we living in is so hard. It's it's hard to do that um, when people are uh, being shown love for negative things. It's hard to say, hey y'all, I know a way over here. I know if you stay prayed up and stay right, you'll feel better. Your the trouble's gonna come, the trials are gonna come, but it feels totally different when you walking in that light. It does, and I speak from experience. When you out there in the world, and when I tell y'all, I've done a lot of things. I used to party in a spot what we call Little Five Points, and I used to do spoken words. See, that's something else people don't know about me. I used to do spoken words, and I got into tarot card reading because I had certain gifts. So I feel like if I do tarot cards, that's gonna help open up my gifts that I have, and I can make money from that. But y'all, when I tell you, when you get trials and tribulations, when you dealing with all of that, it's heavier, it's harder, it's something different. But when you release that, and when you denounce it, and when you choose to walk in light, and you choose to let all that other stuff go, when the problems come to you, you feel different. It don't feel as heavy. It don't you have a sense of peace that you just can't explain. And that's how I was when I was diagnosed with cancer. People tried to put certain things in my head. People tried to tell me, "Oh, you reaping something. You must have did something to somebody. That's your karma and all this and that." It felt totally different for me. I felt like, you know what? If it's my time, it's my time. I just want to make sure everything is right and in order before I go. That's the way I felt. I felt like, hey, I feel spiritually content with whatever happens. I feel like I've done what I was supposed to do. And I tried to show love, and I tried to study my word. I tried to be positive with everybody. So if this is my time, okay. But when you're dealing in dark magic, and when you're dealing with idol worship, when trials come, then you feel it. You're like, oh my God, you're a mess. It's different. It's different. I'm trying to tell you, it's different. You be trying to do different rituals and stuff to get it away. But when you walking in truth, you be like, look, I tried my best. Ooh, yeah. I had to let a lot of people go. And unfortunately, I had let a lot of people go here on this platform, believe it or not. I tried supporting a lot of people, especially if I saw we were all supporting, like a lot of us be in the same chats. So I try to go to these different names and try to support everybody who's in the chat who I feel like is always in the same chats that I'm in. Try to tell you, I got a lot of family off. When I saw that I went through fighting cancer for over 2 years, and some people were still being negative and nasty with me, oh yeah, I had to cut them off. Because that means you just really low down. You just really. I had a family member who was copying everything I did, and when I tried to call and tell that person, stop copying me, that person turned it around and made it seem like I was a bad person for saying stop copying. Shouty said, yeah, you know I'm going back on saying Shouty. Shouty said, that's the way the YouTube game worked, baby. I was like, what? I said, you are my family. Stop doing that. That's weird. I said, that's not the way the YouTube game works. I said, you could have easily called me and said, let's collab. Let's do something together, whatever, whatever. And I said, look, I'm fighting cancer. I'm just trying to do something. She said, F-U-U-B, when I told her I was fighting cancer. F-U-U-B. So it's like some people will do things to you and then turn it around and make it seem like you did something to them because you said something about the way they treat you. Like, some people are crazy, I tell you. Some people will keep on mistreating you or keep on doing something to you. And then if you mention it or if you bring it up, they will turn it around and make it seem like you are the bad person for bringing it up. How dare you bring up the fact that I was mistreating you? How dare you bring up the fact that I was stealing from you? How dare you bring that up? Okay, I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. I and people be thinking I'm just talking out the side of my neck, but when I tell you I done been through so much and I went to that dark side because of how I was being treated and talked about with so-called Christians. So-called Christians pushed me away. Like I felt like I had no other choice. When I got around people who were into the stones and the crystals and the tarot and um, idols and things like that. When I started hanging with that type of clique, I was accepted. I was accepted more, and I longed for that. I longed to be loved and accepted. So that's what kind of drew me on in. And I started experiencing some things and seeing some things. And I sat somewhere one day, and somebody pointed me out and said, "You don't belong here. You don't supposed to be here." And it shocked me because I was like, what are you talking about? I be here every Tuesday and Thursday. Like, what are you doing? What are you talking? You don't supposed to be here. You don't belong here. And yeah, I'm not going back and forth with you because all I keep thinking, I will forgive you. I will forgive you and move on. But um, I will never forget. I don't forget how people treat you when you're down. I don't forget how like if I was betrayed or crossed in any way, I don't forget that because I feel like I'm not gonna give you the space to do it again. I'm not gonna give you the space to do it again. But when I was hanging out at little 5 Points, I had I had to cut a few people off because some people were. It's like if you close to me and you see me going down the wrong way, say something. Say something. But then I started to realize some people want you to go down that wrong way so they can have something to talk about later on. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to act like I'm a goody two shoe or nothing like that. Catch me. If you see me running into oncoming traffic and you know that I don't know no better, say something to me. Pull me back. But at the same time, don't do me dirty. Because I'm going to remember that. If you see I'm fighting cancer and you don't try to call me, you don't talk to me, you don't text me, you don't, nothing, nothing. So, okay, I'm gonna put it to you like realistically. Realistically now, y'all. I was in that hospital for 40 days, 40 nights. I tell everybody that because that's exactly what it was, 40 days, 40 nights. During that 40 days and 40 nights, I asked one of the doctors, he came in there with his index cards and he was flipping them going over each patient and everything. And he came in there to he was doing his rounds. Came in there with two of his assistants, and my tech was in there. And she asked me, she said, "You want me to leave?" I said, "No, no. You can stay in here. Everything is a learning moment for me. I'm that type where if you say you got a student coming in there following you or whatever, they can follow you as long as they don't touch me. they can learn all they want to learn, but yeah, while they learning, they can be in this room. I don't care. So I'm gonna put it to y'all like this. I asked that man, what was my survival? What was my chances of survival? And he was honest with me because I asked all those doctors up there when I first got put in there. I said, all I ask is that y'all be honest with me. I said, I don't trust you if you are not honest with me. Because I could basically read your emotions. I could read your expressions. I could read your emotions. So if I feel like you lying to me, I no longer trust you. So when he came in that room with them cards and he was flipping through them cards and he said my last name and he kind of gave me a little laugh. Um, he said, "Do you speak any Spanish?" I said a little bit. I said a little bit, but not as well as I would like to. But while you're in here, can I ask you a question? He said, "You sure can." And I asked him, I said, "What are my chances of survival?" And he said, "If we do not do the bone marrow transplant, if we do not do this aggressively, you can die in your sleep. You can go in your sleep." And when he said that, I just said, "Oh, okay." I said, "And then if I do have the transplant," he said, "if you do have the transplant, you still have a 25% chance of survival. There is a chance that your body will reject the transplant." And he was talking to me just like that. He was like, "It's a chance your body may reject the transplant, depending on who your donor is. If we can get a donor that is a full blood match and a full," he said another word, "some type of match to you, you have a better chance." He said, "But if we have to go outside uh, of your bloodline, if we have to go through this process called the match.com to try to find you another donor from another country or something like that, then your chances are few. Your chances are fewer then." So it just so happens that me and my brother, we were the exact everything. We was an 8 out of 10 match. So he did tell me there are still some chances that the cancer may try to come back because the form of cancer that you have is aggressive. It is the Philadelphia strand, and you are in the blast phase. So the blast phase is the last phase, and the cancer had taken over 90% of my body, and that's why when I was admitted into, I could not talk. So with that being said, I was on my deathbed. I was on my deathbed. Mhm. I try to be very mindful of that, Miss Patty. Um, so looking back on that, I think about who was there for me, who wasn't there for me. One of the things that pop up in my head is my brother and my sister. They was headed out of town, and they stopped to they did a detour to come and see about me. and and I was on the bone marrow unit, so they can only come in one at a time. And when they came in, they had to put on this full. They had to wash up and put on this paper gown thing. They had to put on shoe covers and a mask and all that. They took time out of what they had going on to come up there, get suited up, come in the room with me one at a time. To me, that showed love. That showed major love. And knowing that I was on my deathbed and somebody takes out the time to come see me, that meant a lot. But what also hit me was the people that didn't even take the time to come, to call, to text, no, nothing. And now when they see me, it's like they see a ghost. Oh my God. Hey, you look good, girl. Didn't call me, didn't text me, just ran with the gossip. You will hear people say, "Oh yeah, I heard you was sick. Oh yeah, I heard you. I heard you." Okay, well, why you didn't reach out? These people said I was on my deathbed. Why you just didn't even want to say hey to me? If you felt like you couldn't talk to me, you could have texted me. Technology is a wonderful thing. You could have texted me. I think about the people who use that moment for gossip. And even then, I was looking at a lot of YouTube when I was in the hospital. I had y'all up on the TV because I had my fire stick with me. So, my tech and my nurses, they used to come in and be like, "Who this hell you watching there?" And I'll be letting them know who I'm watching or who I'm listening to. My best friend, she would come up there and still have on her uniform. She would still have on her uniform coming up there, and we would sit in there and we would sing. And one thing I do hate about when I had to get all this treatment done is it took my voice. I used to love to sing. I used to sing all the time. Sing getting ready in the morning, sing while I'm cleaning the house. And now it's like I barely sing because it took my voice. Um, and that's one thing that I think the enemy always have tried to take from me was my voice. Every time I got sick, it had something to do with my throat. When I had Graves' disease, it took my voice. Um, when I was dealing with other health issues, it was always like it was strangling me, like it was choking me. Um, and then with this, when I got diagnosed with leukemia, it seemed like it was trying to choke me out, trying to do something with my vocal cords. Um, April Shaw's got a major testimony, and that's why I sit back and I listen when you talking. I sit back and I just listen. I just let you run. I just let you run, and I listen to every word you're saying. And like I said, sometimes y'all don't realize it, but sometimes y'all are correcting me. Sometimes y'all are putting me in my place, and I take it. Um, One day when Miss Patty was talking, she was saying something. I said, "Dawg," I said, I gotta admit, I'm guilty of doing that sometimes. When she was saying how things are going, sometimes when things are going on, Miss Patty was saying, sometimes you just gotta sit back and not say anything. Don't be too quick to say nothing. I was like, "Dawg, that's me. I be too quick to, you know, react." And when she was saying that, I was like, "Dawg, she hit me. She got me with that one." That was a while ago. That was a few weeks ago, I want to say. She was sitting at her window and she was like, "That's why sometimes you just gotta wait and don't be so quick." And I was like, "Dog, she right. She right. She got me. She got me." But I listen to y'all testimonies and I listen to y'all wisdom, y'all encouragement, and it keeps me going. It keeps me going. But I do think about those days and I be like, man, when I sat in that hospital for those 40 days, I do think about the fact that people were treating me real ugly then. I mean, low down. Hey, Audra Bella, I ain't seen you in a minute. I saw you posted something one day and I was like, where's she been? But sometimes I think YouTube just don't pop y'all up the way y'all used to come up because who else was it? It was Audra Bella and dog, I don't want to say the wrong name, but it was somebody else came up and I said, "Dog, I ain't seen them in a minute." And when I went back, they had posted like 2 videos. I just hadn't seen them. But Yeah, when I was thinking about how people treated me when I was going through, and then you got some people telling you, don't say that, don't let that get to you, don't say that. No, I'm not 6 years old no more. I'm not 6 years old no more. I'm gonna say something. I, just because I'm saying something doesn't mean I'm being mean and nasty. It's just me uh, letting you know that I see the disrespect. I'm not trying to be nasty. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just letting you know I see it. I caught that. And I'm going to deal with you accordingly. I'm not going to be nasty with you. I'm just going to move back. I'm going to push back from the table. I'm not going to sit here and let people keep doing any and everything to me, and I don't even acknowledge what they're doing to me, because people will keep on doing it as long as they think you're a fool. As long as they think you're a fool and you're just going to keep accepting it, they will keep on doing it. I don't think they realize it either. I don't think they. Thank you so much, Arabella. I don't think they realize how that affects you. You sitting there going through and fighting for your life, and then you got people being ugly and nasty, stealing and lying and being deceiving. See, and I told my husband when we just got this news, we just got on the 5th, saying that the cancer was trying to come back. I broke down crying and I told my husband, I said, I don't want to go through all that again. It's one thing to be going through the cancer and going through the treatments, but it's a whole nother thing when you also have to deal with mean and hateful people on top of that. You have to deal with, you know, everything all at once. And it'll cause you to just be like, you know what? I'm over it. I'm over it. It'll make you go there. It'll take you to a dark place in your head where you just be like, I remember when I was in the hospital and my nose started bleeding, they could not get my nose stop bleeding. Now having leukemia and being on the bone marrow unit, that's one thing they do not want you bleeding at all. They don't want your gums bleeding. They don't want your nose bleeding. They don't want no. Matter of fact, they put me into early menopause. I don't talk about it much. I probably need to do another video explaining it. But when I was in the hospital, they put me into early menopause because they didn't want to take any chances of me having a cycle. So they had me taking 6 birth control pills every day to stop chances of having a cycle. And they had to keep doing that and keep doing that until they pushed my body into early menopause. And they had to get me to a point where I would no longer have a cycle. They didn't want me bleeding at all. And then one night, I remember my nose started bleeding and one stopped, and all the nurses were coming in there trying to help me. And the nurse that I had that night, he was so thoughtful, and you could tell he was kind of young. You could tell he was kind of young. He had this curly hair, so I was calling him Chino because Baby Cinco, I have another name for him. I call him Chino also because he has curly black hair like his dad. He got these big loose curls like his dad, so I call him Chino sometimes. And Chino means curly hair in Spanish. So um, my nurse, he had this curly big hair, and he came in there and he was like, oh, you got a nosebleed now? Really? And he started laughing at me, and I was like, I know, man, I know, like, what's going on? And he made this little contraption. And he was like, this is my first time doing this, but I saw it when I was in school, when I saw it when I was in nursing school, so I want to try to help you and see if it helps. He gave me some ice packs. He put that little contraption that he made out of 2 sticks and some tape. He put that on my nose to try to plug it, and it eventually stopped. But he was like, man, don't Go ahead, don't you go ahead and start bleeding again now, cause that's what we don't want. And I'm thinking about all these situations I went through in the hospital. All these situations. I had my kid's counselor called me while I was in the bone marrow unit and was like, had a real nasty attitude with me about his next, when your child next appointment and da da da. And I was like, ma'am, I'm in the hospital. I can't do, call their dad. Their dad's number is on the thing. And she was still talking to me like real ugly. And I was like, ma'am, I'm in the hospital. I can't do anything about it. I'm on the bone marrow unit. I cannot even leave off the unit. What do you want me to do? Call their dad. I'm just thinking about all this stuff. And I broke down the other day when we got this news, and I cried and cried to my husband, and I told him I do not want to go through this again. People showed me who they were. I don't want to go through that again. People being nasty with me, people making little snobby comments on their videos where they talking about people who fighting cancer or whatever, and I knew they was directing it towards me. We all follow the same people. We all have the same circle, and I thought that was so mean and nasty. Oh, mm, just to think about it now, it just brings back like some bad memories. Like being in the hospital to the point where you can't leave off the unit, you got to keep this mask on if you go in the hallway, and but they want you to walk 7 times, 7 laps to make a mile, and then having people talk about you, be mean to you. And when you do, you know I'm watching. When you post your testimony, or if you do another video where you talking about your testimony, I'm gonna be right there. I need to make sure my notifications are on. But I think about all those hard days, April. I think about how when I was saying I was hurting or whatever, and people still wanted me to just keep doing, and I was like, my bones hurting, my hips hurting, I can't, and they still wanted me to just keep going, keep going. I remember how the schools was talking bad about me, and I wasn't even there. Like, that's why I can't stand to hear people when they automatically start getting on the mom every time something is going on with a child. You don't know what that mom is going through. You never know. I had people talking about, like, I had people talking about everything. What kind of shoes my kids had on. And the whole time I'm dealing with health issues. Instead of them just, when I was a daycare teacher, if a child came in my class and they looked like they didn't wash their face good, I would take a little cloth and put a little water on it, wipe, clean their face, and put no soap on there because you never know how a child gonna react to soap. But I used to clean their face down with some plain water and put a little bit of that Vaseline and wipe their face down and keep on going, keep on moving. I don't know what the parents went through that morning or that night before. I don't know their story, so I don't bash other parents. I don't. I do not bash other parents, and I don't team up with people who do that. I don't. You never know somebody's story. I told my grandmama that one day. I said I was working with another teacher, and it kind of hurt my feelings a little bit because that teacher was talking about what all that other child didn't know how to do. Well, he don't know how to do this. He don't know how to do that. My granny said, well, what did you do, Titi? I said, when everybody else laid down to take their nap, I took that little boy to the table and I worked with him that whole week. Every time everybody went to take their nap, he took his nap a little bit later than everybody else because I would see him at the table with me for 15 minutes. And I worked with him on holding that pencil. And I would just work with him and work with him. And it made me so mad because that teacher she was the main teacher, I was the assistant. She was just complaining all the time about what he don't know how to do, what he don't know how to do. And it hurt me. It hurt me. And she just kept on talking about the parents. They don't work with them. You could tell they don't work with them. They don't even know how to hold no pencil. These parents are working all the time. That's why they sending them here. Both of them got a full-time job. Then by the time they pick him up, it's dinner time, bath time. And if you are his teacher, instead of complaining about what the parents doing, take the time to teach the baby. Oh, that hurt me so bad. I had to call my granny because she used to work with kids. My granny used to work with kids, so I called my granny and I said, Granny, I don't know what to do. I said, because I done started getting to the point where I feel bad for the baby. I work with them when everybody else laying down, when they go to the bathroom and they lay down on their little cots or whatever. I just take him over to the table with me and work with him a little bit on holding his pillow. She said, that's what you supposed to do. She said that's what a real teacher's supposed to do, is work with the baby. I said, well, she talked so bad about the parents, it hurt me, because sometimes you could tell that the mama just tired. When she bring him in the morning, she bring him first so she can go back home and get ready to go to work. Then when she come to pick him up, it's at the end of the daycare day. She come pick him up at 6:30. She still got on her work clothes and everything. She flying through there, still got her badge on from, from when she been working. She coming in there trying to hurry up and get him. And then she, think about it. If they picking their child up at 6:30 in the evening, by the time they get home, probably got to work with the other kids on homework or whatever, getting them a bath, fixing dinner, and you gonna sit here and bash them on. Some people just mean. Some people just mean hearted. When you post your testimony, I want to see. I've heard you speak on your testimony before, and uh, I think that's what made me keep coming back for you. Cause I say she get it, she get it, but everybody don't get it. But y'all, I done been on here a long time. I done talk. I guess because I ain't been on here in so long. But I done talk. But I just had to come and tell y'all that that is what it is. That is what it is. And I do know there have been some people that have been praying for me. And they have been looking out for me. And I appreciate it. I really do. Because when I got that news that it was trying to come back, it got me. It got me. And I'm like, come on. It's one thing after another. I finally done got my babies where I need to get them. And they finally starting to show some progress. And now this. Not to mention my car keep cutting off on me. But whatever. But I was feeling a little down. And I cried about it. I had my come to Jesus moment. And I sat here and I told my husband I just don't want to go through all that no more. All the stress and all the strain and all the negativity, all the people coming at you with their different remedies and people trying to tell you what you did wrong and all this and that, basically trying to blame you for having cancer. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard, but it's true. People will blame you for having cancer, not knowing that it can hit anybody. And I try to tell people that, like, be very careful about how you treat people that's going through, because you don't know if and how it can affect you. It might hit you, might not. It might hit somebody you love. You don't know. So you have to be very careful about how you talk to people and how you treat people. I know you get it. I know you get it. No, that's why I love watching you, because I know you're a straight shooter. You gonna tell it how it is. you you ain't gonna cover it. You ain't gonna hide it. And that's why I can watch you, cause I'm like, she gonna tell it like it is. I don't want people trying to make me cover up the truth just to make them feel better. This is my truth. This is what I'm living. I've already explained why they think I have leukemia. I've already explained that. So why would somebody come and say, "Oh, you got that because that's your karma for something you done did. You done did something to somebody." Wrong goal. Wrong goal. I was the furthest from that. I always have encouraged people, love being around people, love watching people laugh. The only time you saw a dark side of me is if you tried my family. You come after my family, it's too many of us for me to sit still. It's too many of us. Don't come after my cousins, my siblings, my parents, my grandparents, my children, my husband. Don't come after nothing that's attached to me. That's the only time you saw something in me. I've always tried to share positivity with people. There have been times when I have been there for people when they go through their dark times, and then when I go through my dark times, they gone. I had a friend that when she was overweight, I encouraged her when she was trying to lose weight and stuff. Girl, you got this. Yeah, hold your head up when you walk in the room. Smile. You pretty. What is you talking about? Then as soon as I started to gain a little weight, she was quick to talk about me, talk about my weight, talk to her neighbor. Her neighbor didn't like me. Talk to her neighbor about me and everything. I mean, bashed me every chance they got and tried to be me at the same time. Now, that's one thing I would never understand. How you talking about me but try to steal my stilo at the same time. You want to steal my style but talk about me at the same time. What? Now, one thing, and I'm going to leave it alone when I say this, but I got to mention it. And I think I'm going to do another video about this too because it really got to me. When this same person went through with her child was diagnosed with cancer. I was right there. Right there. Couldn't tell me nothing. I got to be there for my homegirl. She going through this. I got to be there. And I lost my son. Miss him to this day. Miss him to this day. But when my son started going to the hospital back and forth and they were trying to figure out what was wrong with him, he would get in and out the ambulance and everything. And I was all on social media saying, y'all pray for my son going through. At the same time, this same person was starting a smear campaign against me. Same time. Now my son going through, and you starting a smear campaign against me? I had to cut off. I had to cut that off. Cause right now it's about my son. You not finna have me on social media going back and forth with you. And I was there for you with your son. And you see I'm on social media saying that my son just got put into an ambulance unconscious. He was non-responsive. And you starting a smear campaign against me? I was there for, see, that's why I said sometimes it ain't about karma. Because I was there for that person through all their hard times, all of them. And then as soon as I started going through with my son, they was quick to start bashing me, talking about me. Start talking about I wouldn't answer their phone call or whatever. I just posted on social media that my son was being hauled off in the ambulance, non-responsive, and you want me to sit on the phone with you? Instead of you texting me saying, hey, is everything okay? Do you need me? Or whatever. No, you got back on social media and tried to bash me the first chance you got. I would have never done that to that one. Everybody knows I would have never done that to that one. But what did this person do? They turned everybody against me to make it seem like I was a bad person, a bad friend. Dude, when you was going through, I was right there. Then when I started going through, all of a sudden, I'm a bad person. Man, April, I started involved in some groups on YouTube, and when I started to see how negative they were and then kind of condescending, you know how you got some people on here that are fake like they're a positive channel. It's all positivity over here. It's all positive, but at the same time they be saying little slick little comments, bashing other families and bashing other people and all that. I can't get with it. I can't get with the fake positive, but at the same time, you mud slinging. Like my daddy say, throwing rocks out in your hands. Throwing rocks out in your hands, and you don't know who might have a bigger rock. That's what a lot of these YouTubers do. They fake like they positive, but they won't allow other people to tell their stories unless it's coming from somebody who they see fit. It's some gardeners on here who I have realized that they won't support my channel because I don't only talk about gardening. That's the stupidest concept I've ever heard because like I tell everybody, I go to YouTube for everything. If I want to know how to put something together, I just put the name of it in the YouTube search engine and voila, you're going to get a million videos show you how to put it together. Uh, I don't just follow just like I don't just follow people just for one thing and expect for that person to do that same thing every day, all day to please me. No. If I follow somebody, it's because I like the way they teach, or I like the way they speak, or I like the way their thinking, their process of thinking. I like the way they evaluate certain situations, like things that may be going on around the world. Like April Showers, when something going on in the world, I like to tune in to her because I know she's going to bring it to me raw and she's going to say exactly what's going on, how she read it, how she got it in the news or whatever. She's going to let you know. I love watching Time to Devote. Trying not to say her name either because she changed the name of her channel. I like the Time of Devotion or Time to Devote. Y'all know who I'm talking about, Gwen Michelle. I be trying not to say her name, but anyway, in the lounge. But I love watching her too because she raw with hers too. She's going to tell you her faults and she's going to tell you what she's been brought through. She's going to tell you her testimony. She's not going to come off like she's perfect, like she ain't never did nothing and whatever. She's not going to give you the same exact thing every time you tune into her. Sometimes she's talking about one thing, sometimes she's talking about another. And that's why I like her. I love watching Patty's Kitchen Gardening more because you're going to get different things. You're not going to get the same thing every time. Sometimes she at her window. Sometimes she's showing you what she's giving the people in the community. And she's not talking about like the people in the community that's out in the street. She gives to like the trash men and people who work in the community. She shows you what she give them sometimes, and she shows her patio, her garden, and everything. So it's a variety. It's a variety. So why are people so hell bent on the fact that I'm a variety channel? It's certain people that they do that with. I've noticed you got some garden channels that they click up to. I tried to support another garden channel and I tried to support her the night that she was trying to get over a certain amount of subscribers. A lot of people don't know it. I have 5 channels. I have 5 channels. So I went and subscribed to her on all 5 of those channels. Would you believe this person would not even subscribe to one of my channels? She wouldn't even I'm trying to help you out. And in the thing, they were saying, help her and she's going to help you and all this and that and all that. I wasn't even asking for nothing back. I'm just like, hey, I got 5. I said it in the chat. I said, hey, I got 5 channels. I got you. I got you. I went and subscribed on all 5 of those channels. And when she said, oh, I hit the number I was looking for. Let me see who's the last person to subscribe. And I was telling her in the chat, I was like, it was me. It was me. She was like, I saw her go. She went past. She was trying to find somebody who she already knew to say that they were the last person. They was the person that got her to the number. It was me. I saw it when it hit. Like, what? People play mind games. And then I started to notice, oh, you're one of those sites where you only want certain people. You click up with, I don't get it. I, I don't get it. So I kept all 5 subscribed for a while so she can get that number. But after about a month or two, I started to pull back. I started to unsubscribe from each of my channels. I started to unsubscribe on each of my channels from her channel because I was like, whoa, what am I doing here? Like, even if I come into your chat, you don't acknowledge me in your chat at all. If I come in on your videos, you don't even respond. You don't even click like. Like, at least click like. So it's basically like you was trying to ignore me on purpose. If I'm coming in your comments, I'm commenting, and I see you liking and hearting everybody else's comments, and then you don't even acknowledge my comment at all. And then I come back to the same video like, well, maybe I'm tripping. Nope. No, no, no. Shawty did that on purpose. Because now it's still, my comment is the only one that hasn't even been responded to, liked, heart, nothing. Okay. Get in the live chat. I try to participate in the live chat and I realize, hey, it's like 4 or 5 people in here. Yeah, I wasn't tripping. It'd be like 4 or 5 people on their panel, and I'm subscribed to everybody that's on their panel. So what I do when I know that they're gonna do a long live, what I do is I go to, okay, say for instance, J3GS, he always does these lives where he's on a panel. If I see J3GS is on the same panel with everybody else who I'm subscribed to, and I know he's gonna sit in for about 2 hours, what I do is I do like 30 minutes while I'm watching from his channel, and then I might do another 30 minutes while I'm watching from David Corey with the crop because he's on the panel also. So I'll go and I'll watch 30 minutes of his live, but it's on the same, I'm watching the same thing. I'm just showing each of them some love. But I gotta say this. If I'm showing your channel some love, and I realize and I notice that if I come in on your shorts or if I'm trying to show you some love and I don't never see you on my channel, never. Now I don't come in a lot. Sometimes I know I'm in your live just by putting an emoji because I'm listening while I'm doing other things around the house. I might just give you an emoji or something like that. But the shorts is different. If I'm commenting on your shorts and you don't even click that thumbs up on my comment, then I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? And then I see other people comment and you're responding to their comment, you're liking their comment, you're hearting their comment, and I'm coming back like, wait a minute. Or like my son say, hold up, wait a minute. Am I tripping? No, I'm not tripping. But I see how people do you. And then you got certain people where when they tell they cancer story, it's okay. It's good. It's like, I'm so glad so and so sharing their story, and y'all go check out so and so. They sharing their story or whatever. But then with me, you make comments and say, oh, some people just finna make that their whole personality now. I went through cancer, but I'm not finna make that my whole personality. It is part of my personality. I don't care what nobody say. Having cancer has made me a different person. I saw things that I wouldn't have normally seen if I wasn't going through that. I went through things, and it shaped me into a different person. Now I'm not as easygoing and naive as I used to be. Now I speak up for myself more. So yeah, you're right. Cancer did kind of form me a little bit. It changed me. It changed me. I'm not so easygoing now when somebody try to shrug off my feelings or shrug off whatever I'm going through. I used to be the type where if somebody shrugged my pain off or something like that, and they say, "Well, that's probably because you probably just bumped it against someone. You just got a lot of kids, so you probably just tired because you got." Back in the day, I used to say, "You know what? You're right. I just need some rest. That's what it is. I just need to take my Tylenol and lay down. Yeah, I just need." But now when somebody try to shrug off my pain, shrug off me being tired, shrug off um, me having issues or my bones feeling tired or hurting or whatever, sometimes like now I'm seeing her opening and closing my hands. Sometimes my hands feel weird when I'm trying to open and close my hands. Like now, when people try to dismiss when I'm going through something like that, I have to catch them. So cancer has changed me. Now I catch people in the middle of their disrespect. I catch them in the middle of them trying to dismiss my pain, my agony, what I'm going through. Now I catch them at the door and I say, "Hold up." like like baby Cinco say, "Hold up, wait a minute. I know you're not finna sit here and just say that I'm not hurting when I'm the one feeling the pain." Now, after having cancer, I have learned how to speak up for myself. So if that bothers somebody, if me speaking up for myself bothers you, then you need to check yourself. If me calling a spade bothers you, you need to check yourself. If me magnifying the Most High who brought me through all of that, when if somebody else was going through that, they probably would have hurt themselves a long time ago. But if God brought me through it, and I want to tell the world that He brought me through it, if that bothers you, you need to check yourself. Exactly. It's not gospel. If I'm telling you what I'm going through and I'm telling you, hey, this hurts me. Hey, that kind of messed my head up a little bit. Hey, and you turn around and turn it into something ugly, that's a you problem. That's a you problem. Okay. I ain't got time for it. I'm going through too much already. And one thing about having cancer, I have learned to enjoy my life. Enjoy my life. I have people sometimes telling me, "Well, you're a religious person, and then I saw you dancing off of that song. That's a secular song or whatever." But first of all, you didn't see me bending over and showing everything. Second of all, I have learned to enjoy myself and laugh and smile, and I'm gonna dance. I'm gonna have a good time. I'm not gonna be sitting in no corner stuffy in no dark room, sitting sad just to make you feel better, just to make you feel like, okay, she went through cancer, so uh now she need to sit down somewhere. She don't need to be dating and stuff. She don't need to be eating the foods that she like because she had cancer. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna live my life, be happy, glorify the Most High while I'm doing it. And if me smiling and being happy, I don't care what's going on with my teeth. I'm gonna smile and be happy through it all. Me with my little worms in my head because it was a time when I was completely bald head. So I am going to enjoy my life. If me sitting in my garden and reading a book makes me happy, that's what I'm gonna do. If me dancing around outside is what makes me happy, that's what I'm gonna do. I have learned to love life. I have learned that other people gonna do what they wanna do, so I'm gonna do what I wanna do over here in my corner, in my spot. Other people are happy when they see you down and out, and they want you to shut up about it. They want you to shut up, be sad and miserable, so they can have something to talk about, or so that they can feel like they got something over you. Y'all gonna see me dancing. Y'all gonna see me smiling. Y'all gonna see me sitting out in my garden. What people say I don't have. People say I ain't got no garden. I don't show my garden. I don't know how many times. Them doctors said I couldn't garden for like a year, and people ran with it. They tried to make it seem like they were finna. Some people tried to make it seem like they were finna make me out to be a liar, cause I couldn't go out there and garden the way I used to. People try to make it seem like I don't know what I'm doing, how to do it, or what I'm. No, I just don't go buying stuff every time I need something. My husband is a carpenter. I'm not finna go buying crap and I got a bunch of wood back there. If I can't do it, I'm gonna ask my husband to do it for me. And bring him a glass of cold lemonade while he doing it. Honey, do you think you can put this over there? Cause my herbs getting a little too hot. Can you think you can put something over there for me? And when he do it, I'm gonna smile and tell him thank you. And I'm gonna be so pleased to be able to say my husband helped me. My fruit trees back there, ain't now one of them fake. But I caught that when somebody tried to say it was. I caught it. I caught it when people tried to make it seem like I don't have any fruit. But when I tell you, some people are so funny. That doctor said I couldn't get in my garden for about a year, and people ran with it and thought they had something really to talk about. But it's all right. It's all right, because one thing about going through my cancer journey, I have learned that people going to do what they do, so I'm going to do what I do. And what I do just happens to be a little different. I love to sit and read. I love learning languages. I love dancing and having fun. I love making people laugh. So y'all going to see some skits coming back, because I love making people laugh. And I'm learning something new. Well, I'm going to start learning something new. And I'm going to think if I should, I'm thinking, should I share that? But I have a strong feeling that if I share that, somebody's going to come up and say, I know how to do it too. I know, or either they're going to slick just come in and start doing it. Like, it be things that nobody ever mentioned before. Nobody ever mentioned it before. But that's all right, because I'm living my life like it's golden. Ain't that what, live my life like it's golden. Ain't that what Jill Scott said? I'm living my life like it's golden, because I know what it feels like to be down and out. I know what it feels like to be in that hospital bed. I know what it feels like to have people treating you bad and ugly while you going through. I know that feeling. And I'm not just talking outside of my neck. I know that feeling. Y'all, you want me to share? I'm thinking I want to share everything. I want to share how I'm really going on this journey and how I'm using my love of education and my love of learning languages and learn. I just love learning stuff constantly. I don't know why, but even when I'm sitting watching TV, I love watching documentaries where I'm constantly learning about different species and um, I love learning about geography, and I love learning about um, different areas of the world that I haven't been to. I just love learning constantly, and that has really helped me go through this, because while I'm going through this, every month I would set a goal, like I want to know how to say this, this, and this by the end of the month in this language. And I just pick a language. Like now I'm learning Russian, and I really want to learn how to greet in Russian. I want to learn the days of the week, and I want to learn how to say like yes and no, and please and thank you. So those are the things that I don't want to learn complete Russian, but I do want to be respectful. I want to know it in a way where I can at least speak and just basics. So I'm trying to learn Russian, and I'm also dibbling and dabbling a little bit in Vietnamese. Vietnamese, I want to learn a little bit more. I want to go a little bit further. I want to get at least into the B range, and that's kind of intermediate with Vietnamese. I want to go a little bit further with that. With German, I have actually mastered a lot of the German language now. It was easier than I thought. When I first got into German, I thought it was going to be very difficult because some of the words, the pronunciations. But once I got into it and I got excited about it, I actually am doing pretty good with German to the point where now I just do like a refresher every morning. I refresh a little bit, and then in the evening I go over my Russian because that is hard. But I'm gonna let you guys go. I have talked long enough, and I'm so glad y'all kept me company. And thank y'all for being here for me while I go on this emotional ride, this emotional roller coaster. Um, Hopefully, I can start back getting in the kitchen like I used to and recording. I still fix the boys' lunch thing for ABA therapy, and I still fix breakfast, but I just haven't been recording because I've been feeling a little down. But hopefully I can, now that I have talked to y'all and y'all have boosted my spirits, I can get back on the right track. And I will be sharing, thanks to April Showers, I think I will be sharing what else I am trying to learn, trying to catch on to. I'm saying trying so many times, and I'm looking over here at the side like this is a little hard for me. This is very hard for me. But anytime something comes hard for me, it gives me like it makes me really really want to get it. So maybe I'll be sharing that soon, and I really appreciate y'all for letting me basically cry on y'all shoulders and let you guys know what's going on with me. Thank y'all so very much. Thank y'all so very much. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And y'all know how I do it. Until next time, gracias por ver. Thanks for watching. Danke fürs Schauen. Thanks for watching. Adios. Bye.